Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with Ripper Round, Andrew Velez, Joe Dehls, and it's now episode 416. In this episode, we are going to give our NFL Week 6 predictions.
So preview predictions.
It's the same thing, Griff.
Tomato.
I thought it would say pickle.
Who made this graphic?
Who do we think?
Okay. My fault. Just
Observations.
happy to be here.
It's why the bullying allegations don't go away.
I don't mind them. You know me, I don't mind them, man, but I just thought it would say pickle.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Yankees played today. I'm a little bit nervous. Mets are playing right now. I know Mr. Dehls is probably going through it right now. However,
1-0. Not us.
not great. That being said, I'm excited. I got a job interview this Friday. That's something something to look forward to. Might dip my toes back into nursing. We'll see how that
Why
goes.
didn't you apply to our school, bro?
I told you I don't want to do that.
Bro,
Stay
doesn't
far
help
away.
black people.
That's not true. But the truth is,
Truth
I would have had
comes
to go
out.
back to school if I wanted to work in Patterson.
Oh, really?
I'm not trying to go back to school, which is why Fairlawn might be the move. Thursday Night Football prize pick plays. Riv, what are you going with?
Oh, the waves are calling me. What are they saying? Take Juwan Jennings more than 29.5? Listen, Juwan Jennings has hit that 3 times in his last 4 games. In last game, he got hurt. He was dealing with an injury. He's one of their big play guys. They really run concepts for him. Take the more. He's going to do it.
I see where your mind's at, but I'm going on the opposite side. Ken Walker to have more than 63.5 rushing yards. You see the way James Conner rushed all over them last week. Honestly, the Niners' rush defense really has not been that great this season, and Ken Walker's one of the better running backs in the league. Give me him to the crib. Now, of course, if you want to go ahead, use code PAS, deposit $5. You can get up to $50 back to play with. And hey, write our picks. They're probably going to hit.
Excuses. I could have got him in there.
So why don't you have to go for Pat or for Fairlawn?
They just need a nurse, a registered nurse.
What do you think we need? We
You guys
everything.
need a school nurse.
They would take me as a nurse right now. That's what it sounds like.
We just need somebody in there. Like, yeah, but I respect that, man. You'll be right there.
Yeah, I literally am 5-10 minutes away. That's the crib. Literally. It's the only, I swear it's one of the 3 reasons why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I respect that, man. How was your day, bro?
It was good. I was playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
How you liking it?
It's pretty cool. I'm still trying to get the hang of the controls. It's a little bit different, but I think I kind of got it now. I was trying to play an online game, but I didn't get matched up with anybody. It took forever to get the matchmaking going. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a early release right now.
Facts.
The game hasn't officially came out
When
yet.
does it actually come out?
A day or 2 from now.
Oh, so you probably got, not many people are probably online.
Yeah, so I was trying to play, but I wasn't able to play with nobody. And honestly, I don't feel like going through the entire story mode of Dragon Ball right now. I really wasn't in the mood. I was more so just watching games and catching up on some things and looking at the Suns. The Suns look really good right now.
Is it is the game like you have to unlock the characters like how they used to do it?
You do have to unlock
So
the characters.
who's like unlocked right now? Like
It's a ton of DLC because I bought the ultimate version or whatever
so
the
who's in the
bundle's
DLC?
called.
Like throw me one.
Broly, a lot of characters from Dragon Ball Super that I'm really not that familiar with
Like
all of their
Jiren and
names.
stuff and
Yes.
Kaba?
Yes.
Okay.
Beerus.
No, you're here.
Yeah.
Is Bardock? Is he a DLC or they got him in the story?
I don't know. I just know that it's like I know Broly's there, like all the versions of Broly,
How
Super
about
Saiyan
BoJack?
Broly's.
Is he a DLC?
BoJack?
Yeah, it was a side movie.
I never watched. The only side movie I watched was Broly.
Okay, yeah, it was like Gohan was Super Saiyan. It was mainly just Gohan, Vegeta, Goku was dead.
Damn.
This was when he was dead. This was like that time period.
That's
after
that's
Cell.
in Z.
This was time period after Cell, before Kid Buu. So in between that,
I'm with you.
Janemba movie came out, I think, and BoJack. This was just Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 vibes.
And this is when Gohan was him.
Teen Gohan. This
Yes,
is him. Yeah,
that's
he was
peak
protector
Gohan.
of the Earth at the moment. Goku is dead
And then he fell off.
badly, but then he came back.
He
Ultimate
did come
Gohan.
back. He did come back. See, but then he got too big for his britches.
Then he fell off
and
again,
fucking
but then he
fell-
came back. See, he always
No, but when did he come back? Are we
It's
saying
like,
in
it was a new
Super
movie.
he came back?
It was a new movie after with Piccolo, and the movie was kind of trash. But his form alone, like he can't. He's like gray.
Because you know which one I'm talking about. I think is what I don't know if it's called Super Gohan or whichever one he fights Kid Buu against.
Yeah, Super Gohan.
Okay, he's a
Ultimate,
dog
whatever. Yeah,
there.
no, he's OD.
He's a dog.
But he's too cocky.
But then he gets too big headed and he folds.
I respect it though.
I did too, but he
was
sold.
OD. He was OD.
Gohan's my favorite character. I love his aesthetic.
I'm a Goku guy.
I think they always just
It is
did him
Goku
dirty.
to the day I'm dead. However, there was a moment with Gohan where
Team
you're
Gohan's
like,
go ahead.
wow.
No, yeah. If
Yeah.
Team Gohan continued the path, I'm here with you.
Also, Vegeta is a legend.
Majin
I
Vegeta.
always have to give him
His
his
character
Yeah,
development is
you're
great.
right.
Majin Vegeta is my favorite.
No,
Yes. He was just
I
he was
got
a
it.
demon.
I understood why he did it.
Yeah, he's a demon.
But it was whack that he did it.
Unfortunately, but he was just a demon. Like he just
was.
was like, bro, I don't care about
He's
nothing
like,
else.
I literally let myself get taken over because I wanted to beat your ass. That was lit.
Dragon Ball
What do
Z
you
is
think
fire.
about all these new versions and power ups that they get? I like Super Saiyan Blue. I actually like that version and power up, but I think there's a power up that's even above that now.
Yeah, there is.
Ultra Instinct?
It's Ultra. Oh, yep.
And
What
there's
is it? Autonomous.
it's something after
Yeah.
that. It's like a lot now.
Wait, whoa. There's something after
I believe
Ultra
so.
Instinct.
Yeah.
Not that we've seen. Like what's canon, like with the actual show itself.
There we
The
go.
most right now has been Ultra Instinct. But you're right. In the comics, there is something more. And I think I haven't read because I stay locked in on the show.
Ultra Instinct is cool.
I know that there's a movie with Gohan and Piccolo where they fight Cell again.
Okay, I think that's what he was.
said
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, you did. But
Yeah.
the reason why I didn't catch on to what you were saying is because
He was talking about Bodok and all
the
that.
the mode that Piccolo transformed into
Was that
It's
big ass
called Orange Piccolo.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was this man Gohan turned into something else, like deep, like higher than
His
what
Super Saiyan was like silverish.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
like
it was silver.
It was fire. I'll be honest. It was fire. But it was like the movie was kind of
Broly was heat.
Broly was fire.
Broly was heat.
I like Broly.
I just don't like how they're just recycling the
Did you watch Broly?
villains. The new
I guess
Broly
it's-
movie?
yeah.
No, I did not.
It was
should watch
great.
it. It was good.
It was great.
But Broly's he's easy to just throw in a movie and just like
It was the first time I've seen a Broly movie though.
you didn't see the old ones?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. It's good.
Okay.
He destroyed them.
Did he?
It's hilarious.
He did kind of work them this go around
like
too.
Vegeta, Goku, Trunks, Gohan, Piccolo.
All of them.
He worked them. It was pretty funny.
It's just with Dragon Ball Z, you have like the villain, of course, like the androids, Frieza, Cell. And then in Dragon Ball Super, you have Golden Frieza comes.
That was a movie, but
And then
Beerus
they-
was a nice surprise.
Yes. And then
Jiren
they
was
battle
good.
Cell
Jiren's
again.
a legend. The
Hit
whole
was-
thing
Hit
was
was tough.
Jiren, really.
Yes.
But then, like in the side ones, you have Universe 6 and their villains. Kit, Hit. Thank you. Hit was a big villain. That's who you think
Those
is going to
three
be
dogs.
the main guy. The three dogs were whack.
They were whack. But they were, they were part
Yeah,
of
they
it.
did do their thing. But Hit was supposed to be like, yo, this is Goku's guy that he has actual beef with in terms of this is someone he's chasing. And they killed him off not killed him, but they eliminated him mad early in the Tournament of Power. That blew mine because we didn't really get to see Goku versus that, but the Jiren fight alone kind of makes you think, all
Even
right,
the
it
dude
was
under
worth it.
Jiren, I forgot what his name was.
The guy who became a
Big one.
destroyer.
Yeah, he was dope too.
I will say with Spark and Zero, the graphics look amazing. The cutscenes are really cool.
Nice.
Dehls is just he's just watching the Mets game. That's what he's doing right now.
It's too cool for
How was
all
your day,
this.
It was good, man. But no, continue the Dragon Ball Z talk. I don't want to. I don't
thank
want to
you.
stop
Stop
anyone
talking
in
now.
the conversation.
The
Fuck you and your
graphics-
peanut head.
Oh my
head.
God, he
Sorry,
got you.
Got it from the comments. Got it from the comments.
The graphics are
Hit 'em,
really
hit 'em.
cool.
First and second. Here we
Whoa.
go.
And when
Hit 'em.
you're fighting, if you are getting beat up during the fight and your health is getting lower, the clothes start to rip away.
Fire.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's a cool
Because
little
Goku
effect
with
they
the
have.
half shirt on is fire.
That's when he goes.
That's
to
when he
another
goes into a
level.
beast.
That's
Yeah,
a-
no, that aura is insane.
Now, Dell started a little Twitter beef earlier, showcasing Riv's stats.
That was crazy.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
I don't know. Just in the mood to a little bored. It's like, let me just put something out there on the TL.
Why didn't you at me?
I wouldn't hit the same. You know.
You're right.
You know. If I
You
would
would watch. You would have seen it
I
regardless.
saw it mad late. I saw it and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Is this Dehls talking about me? And I was like, oh shit.
Well, they had you.
Thank you for
posted it-
coming to my defense, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
So my response.
No, that team's not that good.
Bro, I just said you're foul for this. That's what I said. I defended you. I was
He
like, yo,
really
this is
came to my
wrong.
defense.
Fucking damn it! It's foul.
I said that was wrong. I'm like,
I
yo,
expected
come
a
on.
little bit more.
Thought it was
Well,
empty stats.
He was talking about me also to a
Empty
degree.
stats.
When he says, I'm not surprised at this assist to turnover ratio, given the fact of what I've heard from his teammates. So he's talking about me, I'm assuming.
Yes, he was.
So that's why I had to say you're wrong for that.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I did defend you.
A little
He
bit.
did not. They both came to your defense.
I see his was a little bit more louder.
It was.
His was definitely
yeah,
louder.
Joe Takes came to your defense.
Did he really?
Gary,
He did.
He said, yo, I'm a testament. I'm a witness on the team. It's not Real's fault.
I didn't even see that. That's mad.
He's
funny.
real for that.
Yeah, no, he's my running
Yeah,
mate.
he was the other player that
I
averaged
say
double
Darren was
digits.
averaging what, 12?
He was the 12.
Nah, he was cooking.
Yeah,
He
after
was
that,
the only
it-
person
No,
that
OC.
hit the double digits.
You were definitely backpacking. I was nitpicking.
If they showed
Ignore.
efficiency, you would have been cooked.
No, I shot a high click.
17 and a half was very
no,
good
because
fire.
I take no threes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know.
Point
Yeah,
eight,
so-
we saw.
Yeah, no, it like if I take one, I make it. I'll take like one more after that. And then
That's
if I
it.
miss, it's like I was probably a good 48%.
That's
From
pretty
three?
great.
No,
free
field.
throws.
Oh.
This is just in the paint. I'm a Giannis guy. This is paint work. No mid range,
Why,
nothing.
so why don't you respect Giannis?
Because I don't like why he,
That's
like-
what you do.
You're not a halfback guy, halfback dive guy too.
That's
No,
what
I'm
it
more
sounds
of
like.
I'm like Tony Parker down there. Crafty, spin
Okay.
move, a little floater.
You can get a little physical if you have to, though. I've seen it.
If I see
Sacker?
somebody like John,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can hear where he's coming from. It's definitely a halfback dive kind of vibe with a little bit of flair.
Giannis is just running, dive. My mine's is more stop. Let me give you a little.
It's a
ball,
little
let me-
finesse, a little finesse.
a little finesse and flair to it.
Speaking of finesse, I was watching some Jalen Green highlights. Yo, his finishing at the basket is silky.
Yeah, the highlights, not the
The highlights are
efficiency.
beautiful. No, his highlights are elite.
You look at the
He does
numbers
have
around his
elite-ass
finishing. No,
highlights.
It was, and Riv,
Let's go. Let's go. Second
felt,
and third. No
I
out.
felt
Come
like
on.
I needed to apologize to you
About what?
for all the times that I shit talked you for your love for Jordan Poole.
Oh, well, you
When
just watched the highlights,
When you
brother.
loved him for one reason and one reason only, because he had a bag. I realized today very easily everyone needs a bad guy.
Yeah.
And Jalen Green's my bad
He's your bad guy. Okay.
Brother, if you put Jordan Poole highlights against anybody, it's there.
Yo,
Like,
Jalen
it's-
Green might be there too.
Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you guys.
Yo,
Tell
he
me.
gets to the cup and he'd be looking like Allen Iverson the way he's able
Those
to
are the
finish
like. Don't add no context to those.
Yeah,
things.
No,
Just
that's
watch the
it.
highlights.
Yes.
'Cause when you add
Don't look at the
context-
score. What
Yeah,
was he
just-
shooting that
Don't-
game?
yeah, just watch the highlights. You'd be
And
like,
it's funny too because I literally watch his season highlights and it's during like the in-season tournament when he's not playing that well, but he got some clips. Bro, he had this dunk on DeJounte Murray
I
where he
remember,
goes,
yeah.
he spins, goes left, and yams it right over the top of him.
Yep.
I was
his-
losing
yeah.
my mind.
His
Yeah.
athleticism's nuts. He gets
I
up.
can show a 16-year-old Jordan Poole and MJ. He would think Jordan Poole's better.
I was
Just
watching,
highlights.
I was like, yo, is
Yeah.
Jalen Green Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, it's just highlights. Yeah, you can win off that.
now we're gonna do our NBA pod Friday. I want to talk about the Suns on that podcast for sure. The
Here we
Suns
go.
are looking
Preseason
really
overreactions.
freaking good.
I love it.
The Suns are looking really damn good.
Contenders.
The two rookies they drafted, Ryan Dunn and
Noah.
Iso, I think
Yeah,
it's the
Noah.
center.
Something like that.
They're really good. I think they're gonna crack the rotation. I think Ryan Dunn's gonna crack the rotation.
Ryan Dunn's cracking the rotation.
you see, he's shooting well.
Brother, it's the preseason.
5 attempts.
A made
attempts,
basket
yeah.
to made basket.
I understand. You just got to wait a little bit.
Yeah, but his
Better
defense
to make
can.
him miss
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You
you
said
see
he
it?
wasn't even going to get minutes.
He put
It's gonna
Cade in
be
jail.
hard.
Here we go. Bases loaded.
Huh?
Go out
He put
again.
Cade in jail.
Well, that's
You think he
one
was
out.
doing like
Come
a
on,
game
Albie.
that matters?
Yes,
Okay.
I think Ryan Dunn would guard Cade really well in a game that matters.
Did you see what
Oh,
happened?
shit.
He should've
Deuce
said, "Give me that
McBride locked
fucking
him up in a
ball."
game
Ryan
that
Dunn's
matters.
locking up Cade.
Deuce McBride
When?
locked up Cade in the game that matters in college, Oklahoma State.
They played twice.
Yeah,
What happened the first time?
Deuce McBride locked him up.
What
bro.
happened the first
You know that Deuce McBride locked him up.
What happened?
What
the
happened the
first
second time?
I get it, but you just making it seem like
What
it
do
was
you-
just,
what ha-
it's a 1-1 thing. It's a very even matchup.
Deuce McBride definitely gave him the business on defense.
Second time, yes. The
Like, it
first
was
time,
bad.
Cade put him in the body bag.
Why can't Ryan Dunn guard Cade in like a
I
regular
don't think.
season
I don't.
matchup?
I don't think he. I don't think he.
How many games are really meaningful for the Pistons?
No, wait. I don't think he. I think he's 6'8". But
I think you're underrating Ryan Dunn's
no,
perimeter
is he going to crack the
on-ball
rotation?
defense.
It's going to be
I
tough.
already told you the answer.
it's going to be
yes.
hard not to play him with how great his defense is.
And if
Drew
he
said
sh-
it perfectly. It's going to be hard to keep him off the court.
if he's knocking down a 3-point shot.
Yeah, he has to get it. If he gets like 10 minutes to start, if he continuously knocks down threes and others aren't, they'll definitely put
Ryan
more
Dunn's my
guy.
guy.
Because Royce O'Neal's going to get minutes.
Yeah.
Grayson's going to get minutes. You're going to have to give minutes to Tyus. Then Beal and Booker and Katie are going to log up like most of the minutes.
He went to the perfect spot for him.
low key.
Yeah, last week we didn't get to do the NBA pod because we did a pick 'em on Thursday, but now we're kind of back on schedule. The thing about the Suns that's underrated, I think, is just that Mike Budenholzer coaching them now. They look like they have an actual
Structure,
flow
for sure.
offensively, and it's not just ISO one-on-one ball. They're spreading the ball around. And Budenholzer, say what you want to say about his lack of adjustments, he's gotten the best out of talent wherever he's coached.
Top
So
3 team in the
we
West
gotta see.
potentially. They
We
got
gotta
the
see
talent
what's
to
up
do
with
it.
the Suns.
You know what I mean? They got the talent. Everything's
Why is he
in place.
yapping like
I don't know.
this?
You can't take him serious, bro. Because
You got
like
Katie,
he
Booker,
sounds-
Beal.
he
You got
just-
a deep bench.
Deep bench?
Do you believe him?
No.
I was watching the starting
Trying to hype him
five.
up. Trying to get him going.
I was watching the starting five today. the new Netflix
Is
documentary.
it good?
Got locked in.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it shows a lot of about their personal life and just
It's
their
the
routine.
NBA quarterback receiver.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all it is.
And Jason
I
Tatum
really like that one.
with his part.
Did
I only like the Jettas episodes.
Okay.
I'm a raw parts.
But they don't. There's no like episodes that are really specific to one person. Like the first episode, if I'm not mistaken, was like about LeBron,
Of course.
and then like on the back end of it, it was like LeBron and Jimmy Butler, and it ended with Anthony Edwards, and then the second episode
Makes
was
sense.
mostly about Anthony Edwards. Jason Tatum, when he got his moment on the show, this one quote just stuck out to me. He was like, "I'd cut my finger off for a championship. I'd cut my finger off," and he
Okay.
got it.
He did get it.
He
got
didn't even have to cut off a finger.
And he said, "There's nothing that I haven't accomplished in this league. I've accomplished everything.
He
but
lied.
winning
He
that championship."
He lied.
Why do people lie?
He needs an MVP
Shit. Yeah.
and a Finals MVP.
He literally lied.
Well, I'm assuming this was before they won the championship.
Anthony Davis
He
also
still didn't
said
have an
that.
MVP,
No.
Oh, well, Anthony Davis said that he had nothing else left to prove,
which was crazy.
and I thought he lied there. But
Yeah.
this was extra lying by saying he's accomplished everything. But he's accomplished a lot. Jason Tatum is one of
He's
the
definitely
ones.
accomplished a shit ton.
He's one
Still
of the
have
ones.
more to accomplish.
But he has
get
accomplished
his.
everything. We're not
Don't
hating.
worry. He'll get his.
If it sounded like we were hating there,
I'm not saying you're hating.
Probably is to somebody.
That's why I had to throw out the
but
disclaimer.
no, he has to accomplish a little bit more, But he has his ring, so he accomplised that.
like
It's a great
Jokic.
documentary.
He's accomplished everything.
No, he's good.
Giannis.
He's locked.
He's accomplished everything.
He's locked.
Has Tatum?
All he
He's
can
better
do
than
is
Giannis.
At what?
Everything.
Yo, you're hilarious, bro.
I think the only
He's so
thing
serious, too.
legitimately.
Giannis is one little Mickey Mouse run. That shit don't move nobody.
Let's see.
Man.
The only thing that Tatum probably does legitimately better than him,
Playmaker.
shooting and
playmaker.
shooting at this point right now with the way Jason Tatum's been
No,
shooting.
no, no. Giannis shit
I'm
is
dragging
broke.
it. I'm dragging it.
The only thing that Tatum does better than
passing?
Giannis that his beer connects.
And handling.
He's handsome.
Yes, that sounds like a lot.
He is handsome.
Tatum
Giannis
is
isn't ugly.
Tatum is really handsome, bro.
He is one of them.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I like the Sabonis part of the documentary too. It was pretty cool. I like Sabonis.
Can't wait to tune into that.
Might skip that.
I get all my guys. I get LeBron. I get Sabonis.
Who else?
End the list.
I wonder how do they go about selecting those guys?
Well, LeBron.
I think LeBron is obvious.
Of course.
Yeah.
No,
Anthony
that-
Edwards is pretty obvious too.
To who?
I think he's one of the faces of the
He's
league.
box
right now.
office. Whether you like him or
Coming
not,
into
he's
the
box
season, it
office.
was definitely projecting, but now he's locked.
And he already acted in
But
a
then they went
movie.
for
He was a
Sabonis.
great.
He was
He
number
was
one
great.
overall.
He's not good.
Moved.
Sabonis,
Good point.
Sabonis was in box office. I don't think they went for the box office.
I think
Jimmy
it
Butler
was-
isn't either.
I think Sabonis was selected for the European appeal.
Good point.
So why not pick Luka?
Maybe he didn't want to be in it.
That's a good point.
I don't think Jokic wanted to
He
participate in
definitely
that.
does. No way he does.
No
Okay,
way.
I can see that.
That would have been pretty funny to
Jimmy
watch.
Butler,
it.
I guess, for the drama. For the
Yeah.
drama part. Okay.
Also, the Heat, big organization.
Yeah, another thing that stuck out to me was that Rich Paul, when he was talking about LeBron, he was like, people think LeBron has control with what his
He's
team
another
does, but he doesn't have no control because the reason he said that was last season LeBron was on a minutes restriction.
Yep.
And he didn't want to be on a minutes restriction, but the team kind of made him do it. And then Rich
yeah, I
Paul
saw that clip.
was talking about it like, yo, people think that LeBron has control of the team. He really doesn't.
So
you know?
because he has
doesn't.
a minutes restriction, that's why he doesn't have control.
He's another guy that fake caps. Like LeBron has control. He may not have control over that situation, but
Yeah.
it's LeBron.
He's not the end all
He's got
be all.
fucking
but
motion.
Yeah,
He's
like,
LeBron
what do we?
James.
Yeah,
They're
he
going
has, he has
LeBron.
motion,
Do you
bro.
like JJ Redick? Yeah. Okay. He'll be
Yeah,
in
LeBron
contention,
has
you know?
motion. It's okay. You don't need to lie, Rich Paul.
When they saw the Nuggets celebrating their championship, LeBron was just in the tunnel like, use this shit as motivation.
I can't wait to watch that.
Oh, man,
Get
it was
all
cool.
upset and shit.
Wait, that was after the championship?
That was after they lost
They
in
lost in
WCF.
5 the
Yeah,
next
it was
year.
a season opener because the Nuggets had the ring ceremony. And they were in the tunnel. He was like, use this shit as motivation, man. And then the in-season
LeBron
tournament,
cooked.
before the
motivation?
in-season tournament, he was like, shit, we here. Might as well win it.
Facts.
Nah, his quotes are funny as shit. I respect that.
Use it as motivation. The team that you lost to in WCF, who swept you, is celebrating right in front of you.
And then you ended up the next year winning one more game.
Facts. Hey, you
Some motivation.
So here we go.
Got
Next
one.
year,
got a little bit
you'll win 2
You
more.
were up double digits in hella games. Like, move on. I'm gonna get angry again.
So NFL Week 5 predictions. The first game up, Thursday Night Football. The 49ers versus the Seahawks. They are visiting the Seattle Seahawks. And these are two teams that are struggling in different ways. The 49ers have been unable to win these close games, but I think there have been other problems outside of that, outside of their execution late in games. We know versus Arizona, the field goal issue,
What
not
was
having
that
a
about?
kicker was a problem. Jake Moody got hurt.
So they
On
didn't
the
like
kickoff, he fucked up his ankle.
No, but here's my thing. They didn't have a kicker. Do they not tell the punter to
No.
practice the same kicks?
Some punters, some
I just feel like you have to always prepare for every situation. You should have your punters and your kickers practicing the same shit. So it's
don't
like crazy
disagree.
to me how they just. The
I
kicker
just
went
think
out and
it's
was like,
just not for long field goals because
Okay.
the punter, he hit a 26-yard field goal before the first half ended. But then later on in the game, when they needed him to take longer field goals, they couldn't trust him to do that.
Respectfully,
Practice
like
those shits.
you have a couple hours of practice as a punter. Can you spend the last 25 minutes just practicing field goals?
I feel like last hour.
For real, it feels like those
Lindor!
skills.
Lindor!
Grand slam!
Lindor! You're kidding me! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
That's fucking crazy. A grand slam is crazy.
Did you guys win?
They're winning right now.
Oh, sweet.
Get the fuck out of here.
We're just sitting over here like,
Oh, yo.
God.
No way.
nice, man.
No
Congrats, man.
way. What'd I tell you, bro? It was early in the game.
What's the inning?
Shit. 6th inning.
Nice. Shout out the Mets.
There's every part of me that
Mets?
wishes you guys.
Oh,
There's every
man.
part of me that wishes you guys appreciated baseball. To understand Lindor this season, he was one of the worst players in baseball in April.
Damn.
And he's been, since May, arguably the best player in the National League. The Mets have been one of the worst teams in baseball, or were supposed to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and then turned it around, and now they're 3 innings away from going to the NLCS. That's fucking insane.
So they're on their Giants run.
They're perfectly said.
That's a great comp.
Perfectly
Great comp.
said.
It's a great
How,
comp.
how can you not be romantic about baseball?
Nice,
Grand
man.
slam.
It's crazy.
No way.
crazy.
So the Niners didn't have a kicker. for the
They
second
didn't.
half.
No, they didn't.
That sucks.
But also, there's some other numbers with them that showcases their struggles. In the red zone, last year they were number 1 in conversion rate in the red zone. This year they're the 30th team in the red zone, only in front of the Dolphins and the Patriots. They're only converting on 40.9% of their red zone trips. So that's been an issue with them
Defense,
as
too,
well.
is taking a step back.
Yes, and their defense has taken a step back. But now the Seattle Seahawks, you lose to the Lions, that's a respectable loss, but then you lose to the Giants with them not having Malik Neighbors. Now, for the Seahawks, I think their biggest issue right now is
Health.
not even health. I think it's the scheme right now.
Okay.
I think defensively, they just cannot guard play action. And Brian Dable dialed up a ton of play action shots against them. And it's sunk in the linebackers so far that the intermediate areas of the field were open for almost the entire game. And Mike McDonald loves playing with these too high looks. So naturally, you're lighter in the box because of that. And your linebackers have to be more aggressive. But that's the way Mike McDonald wants to play. The Ravens' run defense last year wasn't even good. It was one of the bottom 10 run defense units. This is what Mike McDonald got hired to do, though. He got hired to beat the 49ers at home in a primetime game, and he got hired for his defense to be better. You can't lose to the Giants with no Malik Neighbors. It doesn't matter if they're beating you by one way. There needs to be a change because so far the Seahawks run defense has been very vulnerable. Their pass defense looked leaky because they had to overcommit to the run against the Giants. But this is why Mike McDonald got hired as the Seahawks head coach, to beat the 49ers. And this is a big test for him.
What's
Are
your
you
pick?
Are you going to take him?
Until I see Mike McDonald do it, I can't take the Seahawks.
I don't disagree at all.
Until I see how the Seahawks adjust and their scheme adjusts to guarding these type of plays, I can't envision it. I mean, the 49ers, they run play action under center more than any other team. This year, they've been more aggressive out of shotgun, and Purdy has been far more aggressive, and they have things to clean up because I think in the red zone, Purdy hasn't been playing with the same anticipation and timing. He's left touchdowns on the field. So the 49ers have things to clean up, but their offense matches up perfectly with what the Seahawks struggle with defensively. So I got to go with the 49ers.
Are you out on Seattle, or you still think they'll win the division?
I'm not out on Seattle. I think, for one, health is a concern. Because they don't have their defensive linemen healthy, they are not winning up front, and that is an issue. Byron Murphy's going to be out for this game for the Seahawks.
Yep.
Also, Tariq Woolen is not going to play in this game as well.
Ayuk game.
This could be an
Praying.
Ayuk game. So
Should be.
the Seahawks are banged up, but more importantly, offensively, they can be inconsistent just because their interior offensive line is so bad. Dexter Lawrence dominated them. He had 3 sacks against the Seahawks.
Yeah. Giants had 7 sacks. They lead the league in sacks now because of that game.
Yeah, and I don't think the 49ers have the interior defensive line to take advantage of that as consistently as the Giants did, but it's also an issue, and they're a bit too pass heavy. They don't run the ball enough, the Seahawks I'm talking about.
Yep.
So until they fix those things, I have the 49ers coming off an embarrassing loss against the Cardinals. Both teams coming off an embarrassing loss, but the 49ers scheme just matches up better with what the Seahawks are doing right now.
And that just goes perfectly into me thinking Jordan Mason's going to go ahead and dominate this game. We didn't see him play the best brand of football last week against the Cardinals. Did have a pretty devastating fumble that you could say played a part in the Arizona Cardinals taking the win away from them, on top of Jake Moody also getting injured. I feel like that played the biggest part because there was a lot of points that San Francisco left on the board because they didn't have a kicker. But in this matchup, especially with the San Francisco 49ers offense still being one of the better, more efficient offenses in the league, I know that there's a way that we can see the San Francisco 49ers just go out there and just keep bruising and being dominant in the run game. Jordan Mason's going to get a ton of opportunity. And you mentioned it. Right now, Boye Mafe is another one. He's questionable going into the game. He's probably right now their best edge rusher. Thank you very much. But even with that being said, you can't trust right now the Seattle Seahawks offensive line, their ability to protect Geno Smith. Geno has done a great job himself of avoiding sacks, but in certain situations when they're going and they're sending pressure at you, there's not much that you can do, especially with the front that you do have for the 49ers. So with that, I just think that there's just an easier path for the Niners to take this game, even though they are on the road.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was McDonald or Ryan Grubb who said after the game, one of the reasons he thought they lost the game was just because they couldn't get the run game going, right? We mentioned on the recap, I think Kenneth Walker had 6 rushing attempts, 6 or 7 rushing attempts. It was a game where the Giants were able to dominate time of possession. So the few times Seattle had the ball, they really just weren't able to run a ton of plays, but San Francisco so far this year has struggled to defend the run. So that's the one part where Seattle could find an edge there. Also, being at home is going to be huge in this game, but I will be taking the 49ers. Both of these teams need a win desperately, both coming off pretty bad losses. San Francisco is different because of the kicker, right? If Moody's healthy, there's a decent chance you end up winning that game. But Seattle losing to the Giants at home without Neighbors, as you mentioned, rookie Tyrone Tracy rushing for 130 yards on you.
He bugged out.
Right? This Seattle's defense the first couple of weeks looked elite. It looked phenomenal, right? Competition wasn't as great in terms of offenses. Now they're starting to play some better offenses, although, the Giants, I wouldn't expect them to be up there. But this defense has definitely taken a bit of a step back than it was in those first couple of weeks. And what we saw last week from the 49ers, although Jordan Mason didn't have a ton of yardage, he was still super efficient. We know he's a great running back. But Brandon Ayuk finally got going, right? This was the one piece of the offense that outside of CMC, outside of the Debo injury, this was the one consistent thing in this offense coming from last year to this year that should be there. And there should be no reason why it shouldn't be elite again. They finally got back on track. I mean, the first quarter, Ayuk had like 50 yards. It started with the bang. I think his first catch went for 50 yards, right? So this feels like the start of this 49ers, at least passing attack, with Brandon Ayuk being so deadly over the middle of the field, starting to get back on track. So I got San Francisco in this game.
The Niners have been losing in weird ways. I mean, you've watched the Rams game, the Cardinals game. They've been up pretty much big in most of those games in the first 3 quarters. They just haven't been able to finish games. And, same thing with the Seattle. They've both been dealing with a shit ton of injuries throughout the year. I do think both teams coming off of really bad losses. Both teams going to come in with a different type of edge. Both teams going to come in desperate. This is also a division game. This is probably for the division right now as we stand. Both teams are sitting at, the Seahawks are sitting at 3-2 if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Niners are at 2-3. So this game right here is for the division at the moment. I do got the Niners though. I think they'll bounce back. I think Brock Purdy in the second half didn't look the best he looked last week. But I think what I've seen from the Niners is if Brock Purdy's on fire, I think the offense could get it going. It can be on one. It's just if this defense can hold up in that second half, in the fourth quarter. I think with Seattle's offensive line being as bad as it is and them not having their defensive linemen, it's going to be a lot easier for this Niners team to move the ball up and down the field. It's just that this defense can can stop the run, and if they can continue to keep points off the board. But I got the Niners here in this one.
Jordan Mason has been solid since filling in for CMC. There's a lot that's left on the table with not having CMC there.
For sure.
Just with having a running back that can run routes out the backfield and how that creates mismatches. You can't do the same thing with Jordan Mason. And the numbers look good, but the Niners are 20th in rush EPA this season. They have not been a consistent rushing attack. I think they can get it going again against Seattle, but it's been a huge reason why in the red zone they're not able to convert. I mean, last year, how many times did we see a big explosive pass play get them into red zone territory, and then you just run 2-3 straight runs with CMC?
Yeah, even the passing attack, how many times have we seen CMC go out of the backfield for some sort of option route where he's just reading the defender, whether it's man or zone, and him and Brock Purdy are on the same page? That's the biggest area. Like Jordan Mason's a great rusher, right? But I mean, the difference between him and the passing game, we know the CMC is in a territory by himself, but those plays in the red zone, it felt like outsiders run the ball with CMC. That's really the bread and butter because he's so great just reading defenses, CMC is, and the chemistry he had with Brock Purdy was great last year.
Jaguars versus Bears. This
London,
is
right?
a London game, and it's going to be
in
played
London,
early.
baby.
It's a different country. I saw it was 9:30, so I assume London.
Yeah, they
The Jaguars got a huge fan
I was
base
gonna
there.
say they love putting the Jaguars
Well,
out there.
they're rumored to fucking move there a couple of years ago.
This is an easy decision for me. I'm going with Chicago Bears, and this is the start, continuing of the start of Caleb Williams going and showing why he deserved to be the number 1 overall pick. You have now 2 games in a row with a pass rating of over 100. This past game was obviously the cleanest. He throws for over 300, has 2 touchdowns. He's slowly but surely becoming more confident in the pocket as well, trusting his receivers. Now we see DJ Moore and him having their first great game and putting that connection together. But the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is still atrocious. It's not going to be great. And this is going to be you're going to start to see Chicago's gets a very easy schedule moving forward. And we're going to be seeing this offense play a lot better football. I just don't think that the Jacksonville Jaguars offense is going to be able to put up enough points, especially with how great the Chicago Bears defense has been recently. So with that, I'll take Chicago.
Yeah, I'm taking Chicago too. You mentioned it, right? This Jaguars team, big win, of course. I mean, 0-4, 1-4, not much better, but it's going 0-5. You're talking about, Doug Peterson probably gets fired. There's still bad, but regardless,
No, he's still getting fired.
Probably, but you win this game. Who knows now? You're 2-4. But now I got Chicago in this game. With that being said, that doesn't mean there's still room for Jacksonville. There's not room for Jacksonville to grow, right? Like last week, we finally saw Trevor Lawrence have really a vintage Trevor Lawrence game for the first time in this year and going back to last year. I mean, it felt like it had been damn near 2 seasons until we saw Trevor Lawrence throw for 300 yards, hit these big plays down the field. So it was great to see that. I still think there's room for this offense to gain confidence, right? This is a really tough Chicago Bears defense. Last week going up against the Colts, one of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the league. So that starts to build the confidence. Going up against Chicago, though, this is a defense that's gonna be harder to take advantage of, right? Your number 1 weapon, Brian Thomas, is going up against a great secondary. This run game, whether it's ETN or Tank Bigsby, we'll see how that room shakes out. Going up against a much better rushing attack. So if you're able to build drives, score touchdowns, you can feel better about yourself going into upcoming weeks because this is one of the better defenses in the NFL. But for me, Chicago has looked over these last couple of weeks, again, facing not as great of opponents, not as great as defenses. It's also what they needed, right? Like they needed this to get Caleb in this offense to really start rolling. The defense had been here this whole season, but the offense was the one lacking behind. So you see DeAndre Swift starting to get more involved. DJ Moore feels like he wants to be there again. Of course, Caleb is looking like why he's number 1 overall pick, as Drew mentioned. So this London games could be weird. So it wouldn't surprise me if Jacksonville wins just because that's how these games go. But Chicago is the better team on paper.
London games are weird. Jacksonville plays well in London. Last year they beat Buffalo in London.
Yeah,
And
that's a fact.
I do think there are some things going for them. The Trevor Lawrence aspect is huge. He finally had a game that built up his confidence, and now I think he can maybe continue on that. I also think that the Bears have a great secondary, and I think they've been much better up front this year. Dexter has really broken out. He has 5 sacks, which is only trailing Dexter Lawrence amongst interior defensive linemen. Their defensive line has been better at generating a pass rush, but their run defense is a little bit vulnerable. If the Jaguars can lean into Tank Bigsby or Travis Etienne, whoever it is, but I think we can all agree Tank Bigsby looks a lot better now. If they can lean into him, there's a way they can control clock because right now their defense, they're giving up explosive plays left and right. They almost lost to the Colts because they couldn't get a defensive stop. It felt like every other play, Joe Flacco was just dicing them up late in the game. And there was a moment there where you're like, the Jaguars might not win this game. Exactly. So I think there are some things going for Jacksonville, and you had Trayvon Walker have his
He
best
turned
game
up.
yet.
Hell yeah.
So maybe that's something he could build off of. But the Bears right now, they just have such an advantage with these receivers against the Jaguars secondary and their defense because of their defensive backs. They can contain Brian Thomas Jr., who has been playing really well as of late, but who better than Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson on the outside? Jaquan Brisker is not playing in this game, and I think that's a pretty huge loss because he is so great in run support, and he's been such a key part of their secondary. But I am going with the Chicago Bears. I think Caleb Williams continues to build upon his past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm going Chicago too. Caleb still looks as composed. He looks like he's getting more comfortable. I expect him to have another big game against his Jacksonville defense. Jalen Johnson's one of the 5 best corners in football, probably even higher than that.
That's the matchup, him versus BTJ.
Him versus BTJ, and Jalen Johnson will man up with you. He is a dog among dogs. I like his game. I like the way he plays, but I expect the Chicago Bears to continue rolling. Like Drew mentioned, this schedule only gets easier and softer, and we expected Chicago to kind of go through this easy schedule with the team they have and kind of continue to build up that confidence and build up that regime. So for me, I got Chicago. I'm feeling good. But like you mentioned, Jacksonville, don't roll over. Go in there, try to win this game, continue to build all the confidence you have, get that running game going, work with BTJ. He gets open. Give him the ball. Trevor Lawrence, keep hooping.
Buccaneers versus the Saints. Spencer Rattler, first start.
I'm excited to see what Rattler's got. I don't know if we talked about the beginning or during in the car or whatever, but he looked good in the preseason, right? Like for a mid-round pick, for at least coming into this year, kind of felt like Derek Carr's job was on the line. In the last couple of weeks, this offense has not been the same as it was to start off the year. But I'm excited to see what Spencer Rattler looks for. I don't want to fuck up the order. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. The fact that he's obviously not going to play in this game is definitely a bummer, and that's the only reason why you would go with the Bucs in this situation. I do think that, especially at home, Saints definitely are in need of a win, especially with the way that you see the way that the Bucs and the Falcons both have been playing football. Really, the Falcons just winning in insane, miraculous fashion every single week, it seems. But the Buccaneers have been playing some really great offensive football. Baker Mayfield has been super comfortable as a passer this season. Really one of the more exciting teams to watch offensively. Mike Evans has been a touchdown demon. Chris Godwin has been one of the more reliable wide receivers this season. And that combination of Rachaad White and Bucky Irving too. That 1-2 punch where you have Rachaad White, not a great efficient runner, but damn it, he's a great pass catcher. Bucky Irving kind of messed up the great vibes around him with that fumble late in the game. That's definitely a blemish on him, but he's a great hard-nosed rusher himself. Very elusive, very shifty. I like this offense a lot, and with obviously a backup quarterback, not much else to say. Give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucs too. Again, excited to see what Spencer's got because this, depending on what happens with this Saints season, right? I don't know actually Derek Carr's contract off the top of my head, but there's probably a chance you could get out of it. They did give him a boatload of money, so I might be wrong there.
Look it up for you.
But regardless, Spencer Rattler, like he's got a chance to be something, right? He was someone in college who started off his career really hot. Then towards the middle of his career, he was someone that, this was a guy that he played with at Oklahoma, right? He was there with Lincoln Riley for a bit. He looked fantastic. He was like number 1 overall pick in the 2024 draft, right? And then, things kind of went off the rails there for a bit. But this is a guy that has talent. He can make off-platform throws. He could be mobile in the pocket, in and out of the pocket, I should say. So excited to see what he looks like. But this Bucs defense, or going up against Todd Bowles, he could offer some issues with this team, right? That being said, rookie quarterback first start, not going to take them. So I'll take the Buccaneers here. The offense has been, at least the passing offense, Baker Mayfield has been sensational. Let's see, what can you get out of this?
You couldn't read it?
No, he just handed me the phone.
You couldn't do it.
Dead cap, 50. Okay, so you're not getting out of this contract till at least 26.
Okay, I thought so. I wasn't sure.
You're taking a $50 million cap hit. But yeah. We have Russ did, but
they dead ass an egregious amount,
$80
million.
Baker has been elite. This passing offense has been great. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Bucky Irvin, man.
Bucks here. Bucky Irvin, yep.
Baker Mayfield has been a star. I'm not even going to undersell. He's been a superstar. He's been amazing.
Baker is playing some awesome football right now. I can't trust the Buccaneers. I can't. I think they were this close to beating the Falcons on primetime on Thursday night, and they do have a rest advantage coming into this game because of the 10-day rest, because they did play on Thursday. But the last time I said I'm taking Todd Bowles against a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix and the Broncos blew them out. I think the Saints desperately need to win here, even if it's Spencer Rattler's first start. I thought against KC on Monday Night Football, Derek Carr made some nice throws that his receivers just couldn't catch.
There was also a Derek Carr throw that was pretty terrible.
Yeah, listen, Derek Carr was up and down. I thought he was very up and down, but they couldn't run the ball at all in that game. The Buccaneers are one of the worst teams in terms of run stop win rate. They don't generate pass rush. They're 23rd in pass rush win rate. They're 29th in run stop win rate, and their pass block win rate is 24th. They can't protect Baker Mayfield either. And this Saints defensive line is still really damn good. They were giving Mahomes some trouble back there against Kansas City. You have this Lattimore versus Evans matchup that is always anticipated whenever they play.
Winning.
I think
I feel like it's always Lattimore.
It's more so been even.
Always.
I think Lattimore has gotten the best of him a couple times. Though, for sure.
There's definitely he's
like,
gotten his lick.
Every time I see them play, I feel like Lattimore pretty much dominates him, and then Mike Evans gets mad and like fights him at the end of a game.
Mike Evans has a touchdown on his head.
Does he really?
Yeah, a pretty nice
Look
one.
it up.
I know that the Saints have been struggling. I know this is a backup quarterback, but I don't think the Saints, when they were winning or when they were staying in games, it was because Derek Carr was playing so extraordinary.
I don't disagree.
I thought it was because the scheme put Carr in a great position. And I think if they can do something similar for Spencer Rattler, he can win his
Just
first
game
start.
one. That's why it's tough for me.
It's just the thing with me is that the Buccaneers, they cannot generate any pass rush at all. And their linebackers got injured against the Falcons. They're probably questionable coming into this game. And Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards. I knew it was Kirk Cousins, and he had a great performance. And I'm not saying Spencer Rattler can replicate it in any way. But if the Saints can run the football,
They've been
they can
struggling
control clock.
to run the ball, though. Last I checked, they might be dead last in terms of rushing.
And outside of Zion McCollum, I don't trust any defensive back on the Bucs. They've all kind of been up and down and very inconsistent. Give me the Saints winning at home and bouncing back because they need to win this game to stay in this NFC South division race.
Okay, no, I lied. They're not dead last.
What do you think, Riff?
Sorry, I was trying to look up. I was trying to look it up as fast as I can. I do have Tampa Bay in this matchup. You picked the Saints.
I picked the Saints.
You going with Spencer Rattler?
I'm going with the Saints. Spencer Rattler.
You know you're last right now.
I know.
Who's in first?
You're tied.
You and John.
I thought I was first because we took one away.
No, but they took one away from you.
We did.
Fuck, you're right. Yeah. Damn it.
So you may be down one.
No, it's tied. They're tied.
We're tied right now.
No, because we gave John one back.
I understand. They're tied.
You sure?
100%.
I'm not down one.
I don't know, but don't really care.
You're not first. That's what it
No,
is.
you're not.
I know.
Fourth.
I'm just saying. No, we're tied right now.
No, you're last.
No, you're last.
Oh, yeah,
You
right.
are last.
He has one win over.
Unless I
Wait,
forgot,
no.
Ray fucked it up too.
He fucked up because you
do
picked
have
the
one
Lions
last,
on
too.
sleeper, so we're tied.
You are tied.
Yeah.
And y'all were, or you weren't first.
I was in first.
Hey,
No,
listen.
he fell
week?
off quick.
The tables can turn quick.
It can.
Rib was on a high.
It
Now
can take
he's on the
one
bottom.
week. It really can take one
this
week.
1 week, I'll bounce back because I'm going with Tampa Bay. But you're gonna pick the Saints, and the Saints are gonna lose.
Okay.
So I hate that
So
for
what
you.
happens
That
if the Saints
Falcons
wins?
game
The
really
Saints are at home.
Blessed.
It did.
I was so happy when I saw John took Saints too, or the Bucks.
Spencer,
And
don't know.
I understand the rookie quarterback thing, but the Broncos lit them up. They lit the Buccaneers up.
They violated.
That was Bo Nick's breakout. It was beautiful.
Who have the Buccaneers played good defense against? Outside of week 1.
Detroit. Well,
They had like how many
Detroit
yards
went
of
up
offense?
and down the field. They
They
just in the
choked
red
it,
zone.
and they
couldn't
had
do
timely
anything.
turnovers.
Yeah.
I would still count it. They only gave up 16 points to them.
Yeah, but then you take into account everything else that's happened to this Bucks defense.
I'm not
It's like,
disagreeing.
it's
But
probably-
I'm just naming an instance where they
Yeah,
played
no,
good
for
defense.
sure,
That's
for
it.
sure.
But I agree with you. They haven't 500 passing
Eagles.
yards. Okay.
Nobody
okay.
played.
Nah, I know.
Nobody plays right.
Nobody fucking play. I can't find
Yeah, they
it.
still have Shaheed, Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is gonna have a big time day.
Did I fold not accepting that trade? I accidentally countered and it's gone. So we'll see.
What'd you counter with?
Just for because Olave scares me for whatever reason. And also he has the Broncos next week. I kind of was just trying to get Bijan.
But honestly, bro, I mean, it's too late now, but you're playing max. You're going to be 5-1.
That's why I didn't think to make a move.
Okay. Well, I was saying Olave
No,
next week. I know, but I'm saying you're going to be 5-1. If you
I can
lose
afford
next
a
week,
week.
you're 5-2.
All right, so I found a little something. So the last 3 matchups against Lattimore, Mike Evans has had 59 yards, 61 yards, 14 yards, and
TDs?
he 0 TDs. Well, no, it doesn't say TDs. I'm sorry, I'm just assuming, but it doesn't say TDs.
I know he has one.
And it said he averages 3 receptions and 48 yards a game versus the Saints.
All right. Well, Lattimore has been on his ass.
Yeah, I mean, this is a
And
this
he gets
is a
ejected
game.
a shit ton.
This is a game that the Saints have to win off the strength of the run game and the defense. It's all. And don't ask Rattler to do too much. He's not going to go out there and throw it 50 times.
I'm with you.
That's it. Commanders versus the Ravens. Jayden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson. And the Ravens defense
fucking guys,
has
man.
not been good this year through the year.
It's been terrible.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you.
This could be a shootout.
It
Is
probably
Chris
will be.
Olave getting
Or
the
this
ball?
could be a Ravens bounce back game on defense.
Olave?
Chris Olave's what?
Is he getting the ball?
Well, he had 80 yards 3 games in a row after week
No,
one.
last week he had what? One
And then he
reception?
had-
He had the
yeah,
first pass.
He
I think
said
that was the
two
first pass of the game.
nothings in 3 games, 80
Did you
plus.
see his family member?
Oh,
One
yeah,
target?
Yeah. It was like in the first quarter, too. It was mad early.
funny. It was early. He was like, yo, bro, one target. And it just, I don't think he ever got the
Rashid
ball after
Shaheed
that.
is the guy they use on those deep routes all the time.
Yeah, his first read rate's like close to 40%. He's getting more first read looks
Derek
than
just,
Olave.
he's like, waits for Rashid to get down there and be like, fuck it.
Rashid just gets open like
Yeah,
hell.
OD.
I said it, and it's not. It's kind of the similar in the Sabonis to Jokic. He's a poor man's Deshaun Jackson right now. The way that you look at his game, the way that his speed just impacts a game. That's the kind of the exact comp that I get. But the game at hand now we're talking
Commanders,
about was
Ravens.
Commanders and Ravens, and I'll be transparent with you. This one was the hardest one by far. It was the hardest game for me.
And I get it.
And Joel, we were talking about it on the way in here.
Baltimore has lost
This game
one
means
game.
more to the Commanders than the Ravens, and I understand that the Ravens can be 3-3 with a loss here. If the Commanders win this game, we look at the Washington Commanders as title contenders.
Oh.
They can legitimately
Baltimore
go to the
has
Super
lost,
Bowl.
I think, one game in the last 3 years against an NFC team.
Yeah, that is true.
They
It's
can,
been the Giants.
Yes.
Facts.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like 20-1 against the NFC.
and let me refine the statement. We can be looking at them as a team that can come out of the NFC potentially. If they beat a team like the Baltimore Ravens, I understand the
it's in
Baltimore
Baltimore
Ravens.
too, right?
It is in Baltimore. If they can go and beat a team like the Baltimore Ravens, who I understand their pass defense hasn't been the greatest, especially the way that the Bengals has lit them up. But to be honest, the Bengals have lit every team that they've lit up outside of week 1 versus the Patriots. And I'm sure if they played them again right now, I'm expecting a completely different result from the Cincinnati Bengals. Every part of me wants to take the Washington Commanders. If it was in Washington, I would do it.
They're
Didn't the
20-1.
Ravens lose to the Raiders in Baltimore?
Was
did.
it
Or
in
was it on the
It
road?
Baltimore?
was in Baltimore.
They're 20-1 against the NFC. Do you know how ridiculous?
The
know
Ravens
what?
do
Everybody-
lose
everybody
to teams
needs-
they're not supposed to lose to.
Everybody needs an upset pick. And
This
this
is
is going to
yours?
be my upset pick. I'm going to take the Washington Commanders in this one.
I think title contender is a little bit crazy because it's not just that statistically their defense is one of the worst in the league. It's also personnel wise. They have
Talk about
Yeah,
who?
I don't
very
think title
untalented
contenders
roster.
probably a step too far, but they can make the playoffs. They can win a playoff
yes
game.
they
You know
can
what
win
I
the
mean?
division. Like
Yes.
they can.
But
But
that's just the NFC is
Can
not
we
that
look
great.
at the NFC? Which
Let's be honest.
team is
What
a
team-
dominant
What team's
defense?
good in the NFL right now? Like, swear to God,
yeah,
there's
that's
no
bad
more
funny.
than like legit like 3 good. Even the good teams, like even the Chiefs, great, undefeated.
They look
They
funny.
have no wide
Like,
receivers.
the best
the
def-
Vikings,
Yeah, you're
great.
right.
Sam
You're right.
Darnold is like, I don't know. Like even these great teams. That's why the NFL. That was gonna be my last week or last episode. We were gonna do our week 5 takeaways. This has been the most open the NFL is going to be because the elite quarterbacks right now, there's major problems with all of them. Patrick Mahomes, the wide receivers. Josh Allen, the wide receivers. Who else we got? Joe Burrow, the defense is terrible. Lamar Jackson, the defense is terrible. The offensive line is questionable. So when you say like the Commanders are title contenders, it sounds crazy. And the defense is a problem, so
It's
I'm not
not.
going
I'm
that
with
far.
you.
But they could win the division. They could win a playoff game. They could go on a little run because
What's Jalen
Jayden
Hurts'
Daniels
problem?
playing so damn good. The defense is bad. Jalen Hurts has a turnover problem.
Also, you look at the NFC.
turns the
You
ball
have the
over twice
Vikings
this week.
as
Yeah.
that's the cream of the crop defense right now in the NFC. I don't look at another playoff team that's defense is going to go out there and right now the way that the Commanders are playing offense, who's going to shut them down? The only one right now that you look at and think they have the best shot to do it is Minnesota. And on the opposite side, you have Sam Darnold who has been playing winning level football, but he hasn't really been going above expectation, especially these last 2 weeks. So to me, that's why I say that where we can really start to look at the Commanders as a serious threat. I'm not going to say that they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs because nobody has been proven to do that so far, but legitimately you could have that type of conversation where this offense is so elite. Jayden Daniels has allowed this run game to be one of the best in the National Football League, and they are also been one of the most efficient pass offenses on top of it too. we can talk about them as a title threat because there's no great defense right now outside of Minnesota that can stop what they're doing.
Yeah, right now they're first in offensive EPA per play. I just think, what's the difference between the Commanders this year and the Cowboys last year? The Cowboys last year had a top 3 scoring offense, and Dan Quinn held them back against better offenses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think eventually, no team defense is as elite as Minnesota right now. But I think Detroit has a pretty damn good defense still.
I agree.
And I think if they play, they could control the clock against Washington. I believe in the Commanders as a legit playoff team. I do. I just think title contenders is a little bit crazy because the defense really just doesn't have talent.
The NFC right now, I don't know a team right now because you think the Niners are probably the most talented right there with the Detroit Lions. Both of them have some pretty interesting losses. Minnesota now is the undefeated team, but their quarterback is Sam Darnold. How much do we really trust that come playoff time? I respect you guys, but the defense still is a huge question mark.
You think in a playoff game? You think in a playoff game the Commanders would be able to outgun the Niners?
Offensively?
No.
No.
I don't even think it's close.
No.
If they're healthy.
Outgun them?
No.
I don't know, man.
They're healthy?
Tough. If if CMC plays, then of course we go back to the Niners going to the Super Bowl.
Or praying he plays down the road.
Of course.
Are the Commanders even better than the Bears
Yes.
if they play?
The Bears defense is pretty good.
Is that
Bears
not a
defense is
50-50
amazing.
matchup?
No, I think the Bears, because the Bears defense is elite, right? Or high level top 10.
They're really good.
Bears be able to move the ball in this Washington defense, right? Like
They
that's
should
why
be.
that's
They
why I
should be.
feel
The
I
Bears
feel
got some
good.
corners too.
See, but my thing is, and this game is going to tell me so much that I need to know about the Washington Commanders. I'm just going to be transparent with that. I say that where these last 2 weeks, they've gone up against opposing offenses, and this defense statistically, advanced numbers, you look across the board, bottom of the league in dropback EPA, dropback success rate, rush success rate, rush EPA. They're near bottom of the league in all those statistics. But in the last 2 weeks against Arizona, a respectable offense, especially with the way that they just played against San Francisco, and of course Cleveland Brown, who not a good offense, but the way that their quarterbacks
Like a
play
middle
football, with the way that they're able to keep them in the pocket. We just saw Kyler Murray rush for 80 yards against the Niners. He only had 1 attempt against the Washington Commanders. That's something that I'm keeping an eye on. Their ability to keep, if they can keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, they can keep these mobile quarterbacks in the pocket, force them to beat them there. That's where I think Lamar will have success because, of course, he's the best of the 3 where we stand right now.
Lamar throw for 400.
He will.
He could easily.
No, he probably
Very
not.
easily he
And
could.
he played a better game than Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow was picture perfect
He
near.
made some.
Damn
he
near.
made
I mean,
some
they went bar
plays.
for
Yeah,
bar.
they did go
you know what
bar
I mean?
for
So-
bar.
Lamar
Lamar
made
ended
some
up
plays.
winning, so that's kind of where you give Lamar the upper hand. But this game can tell us a lot, not just about how real their offense is, where I think they're going to go out there and ball against them, but really, what can your defense do against some of the cream of the crop offenses?
Yeah,
that's where
fair.
I have issue where my pick is iffy on that alone, but I think they can go out there and outscore.
I mean, they just need to be
I'm taking
respectable.
Commander, but
The Commanders just need to be respectable on defense. If the offense can keep up this pace, they're going to get into shootouts, and if the defense can make some timely stops in. Yeah, I understand that. I'm going with the Ravens, though. I think this is another big Derrick Henry game.
Yeah.
Number 1 fantasy running back this season. Number 1 in rushing yards this season.
He's been elite.
He has been the best running back in the league this year.
GOAT. I love you, Derek.
No, he should. This rushing attack is crazy. Like, we know, obviously, this rushing attack has always been crazy with Lamar, but it's been crazy with, like, Gus Edwards and shit, and, like, Mark Ingram's, like, last good year, and J.K. Dobbins for, like, half a season. But now he has a top 5 running back in football alongside of him. It's really difficult to stop this Ravens offense. And you mentioned it, right? Like, you could try to stop Lamar from rushing, right? Like, Commanders last couple of weeks against these mobile quarterbacks have done a great job, but that means someone's going to be open over the middle of the field,
Facts.
whether it's Zay Flowers, whether it's probably won't be Mark Andrews, but whether it's who's the
Isaiah
third tight
Likely.
end, Kohler,
Isaiah
right?
Likely.
Like Isaiah
Kolar,
Likely, they'll
whatever.
find guys to just get open. So if you're really going to stop Lamar from running, he's going to pick you apart through the air too. So I got Baltimore in this game.
I also they're 20-1 against the NFC. Like
You know their only losses?
the Giants.
Giants,
Fucking
yeah.
Giants.
You know how fucking crazy that is. Not only is it like 20-1, I remember last year they just dominated every
They smoked
single.
the 49ers.
Also, you
beat
have to
Detroit.
remember-
Like it was
And
just
Seattle.
But remember
Yeah.
2 years ago when Tucker kicks the record-breaking field goal, 65, and it just doinks in?
in. Yep.
like
It was just one of those.
This Baltimore team takes no jokes with the NFC. They really assert their dominance. I do think their defense has taken a slight step back from last year. Their secondary,
Significant.
yeah, their secondary is a real legit problem. And Washington probably might be able to move the ball here, but I just don't like Dehls mentioned. I don't know how you stop this Baltimore offense from moving the ball. Like Joel mentioned, it's not that they. Like, you can make up for things when you have a good scheme. Like, you look at the Vikings. They don't have the most talented guys in the world, but they have a great staff. They have great schemes. So you can scheme up stuff like that. I don't think Washington has the greatest schemes. They also don't have the talent on defense to just stop an elite offense. So I think Baltimore will be able to do whatever they want. And it's not even a slight to Washington and what they've been doing. Of course, I'm going to hate because that's an NFC East team, and I hope they lose and they get their ass whipped. But I do think, Baltimore losing this game doesn't really change. It shouldn't change our opinions on whether they can make the playoffs or not. Baltimore is just a team that when it's time to play up the competition, we've seen what they can do. So I got Baltimore in this one.
And also a huge credit to the Ravens is that their offensive line is playing really good football right now.
Hell yeah.
Right now, Derrick Henry's averaging the most yards before contact in his entire NFL career. And it's not even close.
Imagine that. You give Derrick Henry... At first, you were giving him no space, and he was still dominant. Now you're giving him the most space he's ever had in his career.
Yep.
No doubt he's going to go out there and ball.
The Cardinals versus the Packers. Packers are at home.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers in this one, not really thinking too much about it.
Love this.
I'll respect Arizona because they did just upset the Niners. Regardless of the fashion that they did it, they won that ball game. Their offense was really relying upon the run.
For me.
And that's really where it stems from. And I'm anticipating that we see a pretty clean offensive game from the Packers, although that's been pretty hard to come across in recent weeks, especially with the way that Jordan Love's been just slinging the rock a little bit carelessly. But still, we've seen it translate to wins.
I don't
win, I should say.
I think Arizona's offense is more exciting than actual results. Like, I think it's exciting to watch. I think you have
like
the
a lot
explosive.
of broken plays.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of highlight. It's literally like Jordan Poole, Jalen Green highlights. Like, if you go look it up, Arizona offense, you see a lot of broken plays, a lot of flashy stuff to run. But when you look at it from a schematical standpoint and you watch it play by play, I don't think it's as effective, as efficient as we want it to be. And I don't know if it's a talent thing, a coaching thing, Kyler Murray unfortunately being too short thing. I don't know. I don't know specifically what it is, but I don't love this Arizona offense. I think it's been up and down this year. I think it's been a bit inconsistent this year. I mean, you look at the Niners game. Yeah, the second half they turned that shit up, but the first half was a little bit shaky. You look at the Detroit game, pretty much got locked down. You look at Washington, a defense we thought that they would light up, and they got exposed that game. But then we see them light up a Rams defense that was banged up, destroyed, injured, all that good stuff. So this offense hasn't really passed any real test yet, and they've pretty much failed a good amount of them. So, I don't know. This Arizona team just feels like it's more excitement than actual results.
Nah, I'm with you. I mentioned it. It feels like a lot of their big plays come from broken plays. It doesn't feel like a lot of things comes easy in this offense. Like, James Conner's still been really efficient. That's been like the easiest button they've really had. But Marvin Harrison, part of the reason why he's struggling, at least in my opinion, is when we see guys get schemed open over the middle of the field, right? Like Rashid Shaheed, for example, has the deep shots, but you also see over the middle of the field, him and Olave just get wide open sometimes. Jayden Reed, the same thing, even though he can make some great contested catches. But Marvin Harrison has been used almost exclusively down the field. Like, he has one of the higher ADOTs in the league, and we really haven't seen him used as much in the short to intermediate game where you want to see him build that connection with Kyler Murray, right? Like, I know Trey McBride's there and he eats up a lot of the middle of the field, but Marvin Harrison should be getting some of those looks too. So I think that's a reason why they're struggling to generate a consistent passing offense, is because they're relying on Marvin too much to just win down the field, when the biggest knock of Marvin coming out was just he doesn't have like explosive breakaway speed. He's got basically everything else, right? He's more than fast enough, but he's not Malik Neighbors fast, right? He's not Odell coming out fast. That's not the way he's going to win. So I think they should try to use him in more ways that he's going to win, whether that's across the middle of the field in breaking routes. So at least if they could do that, that would give me some more confidence. But Green Bay is a better team to me, right? Like that Rams game was a little bit sloppy there, but first week back for Jordan Love, getting back from his knee injury. I think as time goes on, he'll get say it again.
Second week.
No, third week.
No, I'm saying
no,
the Rams game
you
was
said Jordan Love.
Last week?
Jordan
oh,
Love
you're right. You're right. Last week was the second week back.
This is the
you're right.
third. Rams
Who were they
game was
playing that
second.
first?
I went to Vikings.
They played
Sorry.
Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
Right. You're right. You're my
I
bad.
was with you. Third.
I was last week's second week back. But Jordan Love, we saw it last year too. Like those first few games, 8-9 games were really shaky. Then he won this 9-10 game heater where he was just fucking elite going into the playoffs too. So he kind of feels like a rhythm type of guy as well, whether it's in the game, but also game to game, just being more consistent. And we know he has the talent.
Even in the Vikings game, first half struggled a little bit. Second half,
for sure.
Rhythm in, started locking in. Except when he threw that pick, funny one.
I think with Jordan Love right now, I'm kind of at a point in time where he's Brett Favre 2.0. I mean, he's a gunslinger. He takes risks.
Brett Favre's
he's
an
going to
all-time
get
great,
a
so
lot
that's a
of
good
explosive plays. He's also going to make a lot of boneheaded decisions, and he did like the big time play he had to Jayden Reed. That was between three.
That was
defenders.
I don't know. I saw that. I was like, oh, it's a pick. And the one dude just two of them overran it.
Yeah, and it's a great play, but if that's a better defender, I'm thinking that's an interception.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love is playing a little bit carelessly. He also leads the NFL in drop percentage. His receivers do. So they're not doing him any favors when they are supposed to catch the ball. But he's also been a bit inaccurate. I think right now with him and Dontavian Wicks, when he gets open, he's either dropping the ball or Jordan Love is missing him by just a little bit. Those two really have not had the best chemistry thus far this season, and I think it's a bit on both. The Packers just cannot have anything, no. I thought coming into this season, the defense would be great, and I think they've played really well. Mostly the secondary. Xavier McKinney has been arguably the best safety in the league this year.
Great.
But then they have two rookies, Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, who Evan Williams more so has been playing at a near Pro Bowl level as a safety. He's been that good, and he's just a fourth-round rookie. And Jair hasn't even been playing yet. Versus the Rams, Evan Williams saved the game for them with the pass breakup. But the issue with them is that the defensive line has been such a disappointment. Rashawn Gary last year had a pressure percentage above 15%. This year, it's below 5% according to PFF. Rashawn Gary's having the worst season of his career, and if you look at his career trajectory year by year, it's gone like this, and there's just a steep decline, and he's 26 years old. This shouldn't be happening to somebody this young. And then while we're at it, Kenny Clark last year had a pressure percentage of 13.2%. This year, it's at 9.1%. Their two best defensive linemen that they counted on this year to lead the group have not generated any pressure. Now, is that just a couple game thing, or is that going to be something that's going to happen all season long? I don't think the scheme change has much to do with how they're performing right now. I think they're just not playing well, but the back end has been playing really well. With that being said, Arizona has disappointed me a lot this season with their offense. This offense looks discombobulated. There's communication issues with Marvin and Kyler. Kyler Murray's also missing some throws as well and not seeing the entirety of the field. I got the Green Bay Packers in this game, and I want to see some life from their defense. That's the number one thing. You know, the secondary has been awesome, but this defensive line has to get pressure on Arizona, and they have to finish off plays. Now, the next game up, the Colts versus the Titans. Not sure if Mason Rudolph or Will Levis is playing right now.
Like
think Will Levis is questionable. The Colts right now, Michael Pittman is out and he's on injured reserve. But they have some good receivers, right? Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, Joe Flacco's playing pretty well. But for the most part, the Colts are very hobbled up coming into this game, going on the road to Tennessee.
Yeah, the fact that Michael Pittman now is going to be put on most likely on the IR with his back spasms, that's pretty unfortunate. This is a weird game because, of course, Tennessee has not been playing great football offensively, but defensively, they've been one of the better units in the National Football League, coming off a good win against a good win because it was their first win, but against the Miami Dolphins, who are one of the more unimpressive teams in the league, especially without Tua Tagovailoa. That being said, I'm going to take Tennessee in this game. Not sure what brand of football we're going to get from the Indianapolis Colts. We've seen their offense these last 2 weeks look pretty explosive, no doubt about it. That has been with Joe Flacco, but that did come later in the game versus Jacksonville. And, of course, the Colts defense is pretty terrible. But you pair that with the fact of, did you say, I'm sorry, Will Levis is questionable coming into this game? Or
yeah, he might play.
Okay, well, either which way, I still think that
he might start.
With Will, with Mason, I think either which way you shake it, we'll see a great game out of Tajay and Tony Pollard. They really did a great job against the Miami Dolphins, one of the worst rush defense in football. And who else is one of the worst rush defense in football? The Indianapolis Colts. So for that reason, at home, give me the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I got Tennessee. I feel like I've been wrong on Tennessee so many times this year, but I'm trusting them again. The Colts defense is terrible. That's really the only reason. If Tennessee is going up against a good defense, I will be taking the opposing side because I think Will Levis is prone to make 2 to 3 to 4, even 5 mistakes per game that bad defenses can take advantage of. But this Colts defense has been so bad. You're going to rely on Tony Pollard and Spears, as Drew mentioned. And you have to hope as a Tennessee fan that Will Levis can gain some confidence from this game, right? Because even early on that Dolphins game, I know he went out pretty early, like second quarter, but there still wasn't any consistent offense, right? Like, this didn't give me any sort of hope that Will Levis was going to be able to figure it out. And that was, again, against a defense that hasn't been performing super well. So I'm more than anything just trusting on this run game and Tennessee's defense to cause some turnovers, whether it's Flacco or Anthony Richardson here.
I'm going to go with
my fault.
The Titans. The Colts have a great offensive line, and they're one of the best pass blocking units in the NFL. So I think they can have success through the air. And Jonathan Taylor's coming back. And the Titans also did lose
locked?
Jeffrey Simmons.
Is it locked that
It's
JT's back?
it's questionable. Yeah. He's not ruled out, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he practiced. So and also Trey Sermon, his projected fantasy points dropped to like 2.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
see
so
that.
I'm expecting Jonathan Taylor to play. Now, the Titans lost Jeffrey Simmons. They lost him for a while, but T'Vondre Sweat, their rookie, has been so amazing for them, and I think he's gonna take that next step now that Jeffrey Simmons is out and he has to take a bigger load on his shoulders. I'm going to go with the Titans here. Feel a bit uneasy about it if Will Levis does play, but I still think regardless, they should beat Indianapolis and they should get this win at home.
This is an ass off. Who's playing, Joe Flacco or
TBD.
Huge.
This is tough. If Joe
Some
Flacco's
walk the
playing,
first two
I'm
fucking
gonna
guys.
take the Colts. Fuck it. Everybody pick the Titans. I'll go with the Colts in this one.
Here we go.
I'll take the opposite. And I hope Joe Flacco does play, because if he does play, I feel a little bit more confident in this offense.
Fell,
moving the ball.
fell so far.
Yeah, I
I don't
respect it.
disagree.
Yeah, no, like I feel a little bit more confident in this offense, just moving the ball. Listen, Joe Flacco showed us some things fresh off the couch.
He throws the ball wherever he wants.
He's one of them dudes, like fresh off the couch. Great. And if JT is playing, this gives me a little bit more confidence. I'm just gonna go with the swing of the bat here. Hopefully, both of these guys play. I have a good offense. They'll be moving. So I got the Colts in this one.
Yeah, and the Colts, not that, Pittman is a great receiver, so losing him hurts, but having
Downs,
Alec Pierce and
Downs are
A.D.
dope.
Mitchell on the field at the same time, those are two guys that can threaten the field vertically.
You're saying Michael Pittman holds back the offense?
I just think that him and Josh Downs have play styles that clash. That's what I'm
Downs
saying.
OD.
I think Josh
Downs has
Downs,
been amazing.
yeah, Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr. are both sort of, to me, like possession receivers. They work in the intermediate areas. And when you have two of those guys and you only have one burner, it can kind of clog up the space of things. A.D. Mitchell has been getting open.
Like hell.
Yes. And Alec Pierce has also been getting downfield. So that's just something that you have to worry about if you're Tennessee. Their defense in the last 2 weeks, they had a bye week this past week, is first in success rate.
Yeah.
And that's because they faced Miami.
Let me ask you a question. Did we talk about it on the fantasy reaction, or did we talk about it on the recap about how very sneakily this Colts weapon room is good?
It is good.
Like,
yeah.
very
It
good.
It is
Potential
very
is
good.
talented and it has a lot of potential.
Yeah. I'm excited to see A.D. Mitchell get more opportunities because I feel like he should be seeing the field some more. But again, like you have dude like Alec Pierce, although it's only like a couple of catches a game, he's making big plays down the field, so it's hard to take him off. Michael Pittman's your one, and Josh Downs these last 2 weeks has been probably your best wide receiver.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if they generate a lot of explosives this week against Tennessee. Texans versus the Patriots. Drake May's first start.
Lock of the week, Houston Texans. 4th highest pressure rate in the National Football League is generated by...
No Nico Collins.
Doesn't matter to me.
that hurts.
The Houston Texans. I believe that the New England Patriots are second to last in terms of pass block win rate, and you go and you do that against the Houston Texans. Let's go ahead and start our number 3 overall selection, Drake May. Give me the Houston Texans. Not going to think too hard about this, but prayers for my brother Nico Collins. Hamstring injury after what could have been a historic season on his way to Offensive Player of the Year. It's devastating. It's gutting, but he'll be back, and Houston will be
Yeah,
back.
could have been floor over 2,000 yards. Like that was the pace he was on.
It's a dog.
But yeah, you got Houston this game. I'm excited to see Drake May, right? Like we talked about that in the last episode. Excited to see what he can do to give any sort of spark to this offense. But I mean, Houston's so much better. It's hard to see a world New England can win.
You're going to hate this next swing.
No way.
One thing for sure is that the Patriots have a really good defense. And the Texans play calling has been very up and down.
I'm looking at your phone, your head.
Oh, sorry about that.
CJ Stroud has been playing incredible.
Amazing.
He's making
amazing.
up for so many things.
Yo, bro, you're making me uncomfortable.
He's just so good, bro. He's so good.
As you're talking, he's looking at CJ, and I can see the drool coming out of his mouth.
He's just so good.
He's
bro. so
amazing.
good.
One thing is that against Buffalo, they were able to run the ball effectively. They were able to gain 4 yards at a time, and that's usually what a successful run play is when you can get 4 yards. But CJ Stroud,
Oh, sorry.
under pressure while being hit,
Evading it.
consistently just
Everything.
making plays. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league right
He's
now.
3.
But this,
Yeah?
He's 4.
he's close. I mean, he's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now.
Matthew Stafford.
Gotta respect Staff.
Yeah.
He's 5.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
He's better than Herbert.
Okay, I can hear it too.
Herbert's just in a terrible situation.
I'm sorry.
I can hear it.
You can't compare Herbert to nobody right now. He's just in such a dog shit situation.
I'm sorry.
Nobody could play well in that situation.
I'm sorry.
It's
push
out of our hands at this point. Because I'm with you.
I have to push these agendas.
How long have I been saying this?
He's better than Burrow.
3-4 years. He's better than Burrow.
They're close.
That's a good hot take.
I'll wait to the end of the year. He's
a good hot take.
He's in a very good situation. Offensive line is shitty, but the receivers.
Nico
elite.
Collins went out. That's why he went and got Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
To have some insurance policy.
And Tank Dell has been.
Yes.
I think he has a blow up game this week, though.
He has to.
I think this is the week we see it.
So I got the Texans in this one. I think they can just win off the strength of their defense. But the Patriots, I mean, who knows what Drake May is? I know that it's a bad situation, but at some point he was going to play, and at some point he was going to play against good defenses, and at some point he was going to play in a bad situation anyway in his rookie season. So it doesn't make much of a difference that he started now, because people were calling him to start at the beginning of the season. You know, eventually you're going to run into these opponents. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do, because at North Carolina it wasn't much different. He played with a terrible offensive line. His final year he played with terrible weapons.
The year before he played with Downs, right?
Yeah, he did.
He dropped to the 3rd overall pick because of the talent around him in North Carolina.
Yeah, so, I think just him adding a different element to the offense and just moving, which Jacoby Brissett couldn't do. He couldn't scramble and really evade the pocket and pressure in the pocket
Mm-hmm.
like him. I think Drake May can add a different element. I'm excited to see what he does, but I got the Texans.
Yeah, it just feels like CJ, I'm pretty sure he had 300 yards last week, but he had, 340 against the Bills? And it just still feels like this team is leaving a lot on the table to be desired as just a team in totality. Like, this secondary, I think, is the weakest part of the team. I think they lack talent in that department. But I feel like their defensive line is pretty solid. I feel like their linebackers are really good. Their offensive line is really, really bad. And I think what not only is just play calling, but they fuck themselves so much when they get a penalty on first down. And when they always start, I feel like every drive they run the ball on first down. It doesn't work. So now you're in 2nd and 10 territory, 2nd and 12 territory. Now you have to make a big play. Now it's find Nico Collins. Now it's find Stephon Diggs. And I get it. You have the talent for it, but it just doesn't feel like that needs to be an every week thing. Like, you need to find some cohesiveness, some efficient offense. But nonetheless, you have the talent to do what you've been doing. I think New England is another feast moment. I think this is where Houston may not blow them out the waters and we may be unimpressed, but you still see C.J. Stroud throw for 280 to 300 yards. You probably see Stephon Diggs with a 100-yard game. But there was this one throw he had where he was evading pressure, threw it over a cornerback to Dalton Schultz. It was like a 3rd and 12, and they needed it extremely badly. This guy, I want to say things that I can't say, but this guy is just really good at football, and I got the Texans in this one. I think they've been quietly one of the best teams in the league without showing us they're one of the best teams in the league. And I think that's the scary part about this team.
The Browns versus the Eagles.
If we don't, and everybody's back, if we don't score 30 points, Hurts has 250 or 200, 300 all purpose, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, damn. I might change my lock of the week.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Brother, we're going to win. But it's how we win that's going to move.
You know what? I take everything I said back.
Lock of the week.
Lock of the week.
The boys are back.
Philadelphia Eagles versus the Cleveland Browns.
Back.
Talk.
AJ's back.
Talk.
Smitty's back.
Fucking talk.
Cooper's starting over Maddox
At the nickel,
this week.
that's cute.
Lit. Hurts isn't going to turn the ball over this week. God willing, we're going to feed Saquon like we should have been fucking doing all year. We're going to win the game.
Yeah, the Browns'
They suck.
run defense has been quietly one of the worst in the NFL.
I traded everybody on their team.
Their defense has fallen off a cliff from where it was.
You know, in
last
Madden,
season.
I trade everybody on their team. Like, I go in a franchise and I trade everybody.
And
I feel
also,
like they don't need to be.
Not that Philly's defense is probably ever going to be good this year,
Hey.
but you got to hope a couple of these guys, a couple of these guys
mean.
this should be a confidence builder game. Deshaun
Sack
Watson
Deshaun 8
and
times.
this offense is terrible. This is arguably the worst offense in football, and it shouldn't be, but it is because that's how bad of a quarterback Deshaun Watson is. So you just got to hope that a couple of these guys, looking at you, Bryce Huff, get on the right foot from this game, sack Deshaun Watson 7 times like he's been getting every single game, build some momentum so you could be hopefully the 19th best defense instead of the 29th.
Yeah, I got the Eagles in this one. Not too much to say about that. The Chargers versus the Broncos.
Are we all aboard?
Hey, I was with you last week.
You must fucking
Let's go again. We got fucking Denver. Wait, what?
What do you mean?
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're my brother till death do us part.
I thought you said we were here to death. I'm not here to death do us part. But I mean,
You're not here with the Broncos?
Not till death do us part.
Just this week.
This week and maybe next week.
All right,
Who
I'm
play
here.
next week.
We play with the Saints.
I'm
No
here
Derek
with you.
Carr. I'm
We're
with
here
you.
back-to-back weeks. We got Denver.
We're dogs in this game too.
You are.
We're
Home
dogs in this game.
We're setting the tone.
dogs.
What's your record against the Chargers?
We've been pretty good against them.
Better than
We're
the
gonna
Raiders.
We're
Definitely better than the
easily
Raiders.
that's
the
our
Raiders,
best opponent in
She
the
lost
division.
me. But we're back. We're here.
We're here.
We're
beating them.
We're beating agendas.
We're beating them.
I think the only way the Broncos lose this game is if there's a lot of turnovers on offense.
Yes.
I
That's
agree.
really what it comes down to. The Broncos right now, they're first in pass rush win rate. They're
ahead.
ninth in run stuff win rate.
Keep going.
Talk about
They're
Riley Moss.
fifth in pass block win rate.
I'm close.
And they're 12th in run block win rate.
Oh God.
The Broncos right now, they have been great on both sides of the trenches. Bo Nix is playing solid. He's just controlling the game, not putting the ball in harm's
That's what we
way.
need right now.
And the defense is just, I mean, it's just so damn good.
Talk about Riley Moss.
Riley Moss, I mean, yeah.
Please
Just-
talk
it's just-
about the great white hope.
Did you see the stat that he's the first white quarterback to catch an interception? It might have been a fake stat, but I saw it on Twitter.
I wouldn't put it
I
past
saw it
you.
on Twitter as like the first white corner to catch an interception.
Yo,
like
in
20
terms
years.
of lack of separation, he's been slightly better than Pat Surtain this season. That is fucking nuts.
Yeah, he's
Dog
also
good.
guarding.
Of course,
hey,
number twos. Of course. Yeah, he always has to
on.
ruin a
Come
vibe.
No, no, it's just for me. Pastor Tan's DPOY right
No,
now.
duh. That's the GOAT.
Yeah.
It's the GOAT. That's
Pat-
my GOAT. Pat Surtain's the best in the fucking league.
It's either him or TJ Watt.
I'm fine with that. I can hear that. Or honestly, Xavier McKinney has been that
Aiden
great. I know it's a
Hutchinson?
safety. Aiden Hutchinson's another.
Dexter Lawrence is up there.
There's so many great candidates this season, but our defense has been all world, and we have the best corner in football. Zach Allen's been a dog. Jonathan Cooper's been an absolute animal. On the opposite side, our secondary is. Thank you. It's fucking sex. Jaquan, Riley, Pat Surtain, PJ Locke, Brandon Jones. I guess the safeties may be the question, but right now they've been amazing. This defense has been perfect, and the way that the Chargers have been playing offense recently, I love our chances to win this one.
I just think right now what Pastor Tan is doing and how he allows the Broncos to play this physical branded defense.
For sure.
He's by far and away the DPOY to me.
Okay.
Because this Broncos team reminds me a lot of the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars.
With Jalen
where
Ramsey?
where you have an elite level cornerback that could just change the dynamic and the numbers game of what's happening. And also on that team, you had AJ Boye. You had a lot of great defensive talent. And right now, the Broncos, the secondary is really damn good. We know it's elite. We know that Riley Moss is a young up-and-coming player who's proven himself right now. So is McMillan. But what's surprising me the most is really that Zach Allen, as like a 7-year veteran in the NFL, is one of the league leaders in pass rush win rate amongst interior defensive linemen. He's somebody that for most of his career has just been good. Even with Denver last year, he was just good. He was all right.
I
but
agree.
this year, he has taken a major step up. And is it just him getting better? Is it the secondary now giving you more time to get home? It could be a little bit of both. But just the way Pastor Tan allows the Broncos to play defense right now, cover one, man-to-man, we can blitz a ton. Vance Joseph can send all these pressure packages because we know we have corners that can suffocate your receivers. And with the Chargers in this matchup, they just don't have anybody that can win outside. I mean, Quentin Johnson was getting jammed up by Jalen Watson, and just it's hard to operate with anything in this offense. Now, the Raiders early against the Broncos got an explosive play that got them going, but after that, they got shut down.
Do you think PS2 have the stats to win it?
To me, it doesn't matter about stats. Like, I don't care about
I'm
the
just asking in
interception
general.
It
numbers.
shouldn't matter, but voters, for whatever reason,
Because I feel like for a corner, you need to have like 7-8 interceptions.
Well, to be fair, Deron Bland broke the record for most pick six in a
He didn't
season.
get it.
He
But
didn't
Gilmore,
win.
I remember he had like
He had
7-8
OD
picks
picks.
while also locking
Yeah.
people
But
up.
Pastor Tan had 2 picks last week.
Okay.
So I
he-
think
he can
plus
get-
a
Pastor-
100-yard return.
So if you can get just like 5-6,
I think
And
if Pastor
you
Tan can get that, he can win
Look
the
at the
DPOY.
list of receivers that he's gone
Yep,
up
yep.
against and absolutely strapped them
because
up.
Gilmore had the lockups and he had the interceptions.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to get
Yeah, so I think if the Broncos have a top 5 defense by the end of the season, Pastor Tan has 5-6 interceptions, he should be DPOY. Because if this team gets to the playoffs, it's because of this defense.
Facts.
If they're even in the hunt It's because of this defense.
Facts.
They're 3-2
Because of this defense. They beat the Jets.
That's why.
Because of this defense.
Well, being the Buccaneers, I'll give some credit to the offense, but outside of that, yeah, it's been this defense.
But you
and this
also held
defense
the Bucs
alone.
9
last
points.
year.
Yeah, facts.
Kind
You're
of the same
spitting.
way they beat us.
Yep, but let me also say this. Shout out
locking
to
up.
I mentioned Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen. Jonah Ellis has been really great for us, our third round rookie. He's been awesome. But that's also with Baron Browning really not really leaving his impact because he's also been injured. This is interesting to me because Baron Browning was my breakout player this season. And honestly, at this point, he's expendable. Because we're probably not going to be able to bring him back next season. We won't probably want to bring him back, especially with how awesome this pass rush has been this season. Maybe at the trade deadline, he can be a piece for us to go and get a wide receiver. That's just something that I'm putting out
You
there.
guys are all in the Broncos?
Yeah, I'm picking the Broncos.
You're
The only way
taking the Chargers.
win-
I think I'm taking
Take the
the
Chargers
Chargers.
then, you punko.
I think I'm taking the Chargers are getting back.
J.K. Dobbins?
Both tackles are back at practice. Slater and Joe Walter both back at practice. They're coming off a bye week. Broncos on 3-game heater. Shout out to them.
You don't care.
I think the Chargers
coming
win
down to
this
earth.
game. I think the Chargers win this game. I think the extra rest is going to help them. The fact that they're on the road is what scares me the most for sure. Denver's home field advantage is one of the best in the NFL
Power
right
field.
now. But really, I mean, whatever the under is, fucking take it. I think there's gonna be very few points scored on both sides. Both these defenses have been so great this season. I do think the Broncos' talent on defense will make them more sustainable for the long term, right? Like the Chargers defense, I still think there's some holes there that are getting covered up just by some really good coaching. But I think the Chargers having a little bit extra rest, having an extra week to prepare, getting some of their tackles back. I like them going to Denver and sneaking one out.
So looking at their injury report right now, Christian Fulton was a do not practice. Derwin James was a DNP.
Alton Slater were limited, I believe.
Yes, Alt was limited. Joey Bosa was a DNP. Rashawn Slater was limited as well. Correct. Santi Samuel was limited. Khalil Mack was limited.
I
They're
need one
coming
a
into
week.
this game banged up.
I need one a week that I'm just against all y'all.
You know, this is the
There does need to be one. It
I
always
need
needs to be
one.
one. That's why I went to
need one.
Commanders because
I need
it's
one.
also fun.
I went Colts.
this is
boring.
the question
Okay.
that I have for the Chargers and just for like them as a whole. When's the last time we've seen a great quarterback on a team that is unable to have any impact on the outcome because there's just no supporting cast?
You're not a Lad McConkey guy?
Justin
He
Herbert.
separates.
Justin Herbert has
all they
nothing to work with on this offense. For example, usually,
Lad McConkey's not a bad player.
but it's
Lad is solid, but
Yeah.
damn near
Of
nothing
course,
to
it's
work
not
with.
Malik Neighbors that they could
They knew this
have.
coming in though. They wasn't.
And this is the
gonna be
thing.
good.
It's like usually when great quarterbacks get paid, it's the defense that's not that good. You look at Joe Burrow with the Bengals. He has enough offensive weapons and support to still give the Bengals a chance to win every week. Justin Herbert can't even give the Chargers a chance to win every week because there's nothing to work with. The rushing attack is very inconsistent. If J.K. Dobbins doesn't break a couple tackles and go on a long rush, it's essentially a non-factor. Like, this defense has to win them games. They have to win off the strength of maybe a couple plays here and there. Justin Herbert, there's no doubt about it. He's still making incredible plays week to week. They're just not being capitalized on. I mean, right now the Chargers have Quentin Johnson running one-on-ones on the outside, and that's the main option for their plays. There's nothing that Herbert can do that can realistically affect the outcome of games.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a quarterback. It's hard because you're right. It's
The
usually
closest
like
is Josh.
this
Just
year.
from an
Josh?
offensive
Yeah.
infrastructure, that would be the closest.
Shit,
right
I
now.
mean, yeah.
Still so
Mahomes
much
last
better.
year,
Yeah.
but like because the defense, like Mahomes last year probably, but he had
Mahomes
Kelsey.
had Kelsey, yeah.
Yeah,
You could
so it's
also
like
say Lamar.
That's what I was about to say.
he
Lamar
had
said
Mark
Andrews.
Yeah,
He's
but
a-
last year was injured. Zay Flowers was a rookie.
he was better
similar
than,
to this
Zay
season.
Flowers still better than.
Even Lamar's
Lad
MVP
McConkey
season
has not been bad though.
I don't think
he's
he
been
has.
all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a good separator.
he's good.
That's about it though.
He's by
right
far and
now.
away their best
Yeah.
player, best
When-
offensive weapon.
When you look at
saying much.
Lamar's MVP season, when he had Greg Roman, they had Hollywood Brown, who had a drop problem, but still was better than any
yeah.
receiving option the Chargers have right now. They had Mark Andrews, who was still
about
ascending, but still really
that
good.
year, oh wait, was D Hop there? The Deshaun year with Houston.
The year they lost or beat the Bills.
He didn't play. I think they won like 4 or 5 games, but I think
That was the year that DeAndre Hopkins got traded to Arizona.
So I'm saying he didn't.
So
have
he was
much.
playing with Will Fuller. He was playing
He
with
had, I
Brandon
think, his
Cooks.
best statistical year. I think he had like 35.
That's when
TDs
Deshaun
that
Watson was Good.
Yeah, top 5.
Why aren't we talking about the Chargers as an Amari Cooper destination more? I mean, they
should
need
be.
him more than anybody else.
That
I don't
means
think their window
I don't
this
want
year
it
is
to, I don't want it to happen. I'm gonna be transparent.
part of the reason, but part of the problem is Greg Roman. Like, I understand the weapons aren't there. I 100% get that, but this is the offense Greg Roman wants to run. There's a reason, and although it was the right pick, I think Joe Alt's a phenomenal player. There's a reason why, like, I don't think wide receiver was ever in consideration in that top 5, top 6 draft pick that they have. There's a reason they were never aggressive to go out and get a receiver outside of drafting Ladd McConkey in the 2nd round. They were cool going into the year with Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnson, and Ladd as your wide receiver group, and that's mostly because Greg Roman's like, we're just going to run the ball. I mean, Justin Herbert hasn't had 200 yards this season. Like, Justin Herbert, a dude who a couple years ago is comfortably in top 5, and I think talent-wise is still there, has not passed for 200 yards. The weapons are a problem, but it's also the offensive philosophy and play calling too.
Steelers versus the Raiders. The Steelers coming off of 2 back-to-back losses after starting off 3-0. And the Raiders, they're just dysfunctional. Devontae Adams might get traded soon, and they just changed quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew's not starting. Aiden O'Connell's now starting for them.
Antonio Pierce did say that Devontae Adams is, when he's ready, he's going to play because he's a Raider and he's always been a Raider. So whatever that
I'm going to be transparent. Why does this one kind of have upset on it?
It's in Las Vegas, right?
It's in Las Vegas. The Steelers have been playing sloppy. I say that where
God, I
the
hope
week
they
versus
lose.
the Steelers. Yeah, I know you've been moving nasty.
No, it's Joey.
I get it, but like,
What has he been saying?
I fucking hate him.
Joel is just an asshole in a way, and at the same time, Joey's an asshole.
So it's two
and so the
assholes
two of them
clashing.
just keep going at it. But at one point, like the other shoe's got to drop. Like one person
No,
got
the
to be the
thing is,
bigger person.
Joey will go, like, I'll in one of our group chats, right? Just a smaller one, like 4 of us. We'll go back and forth. The Jets lose. Joey goes in 5 different group chats. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all right, get off dick.
That's
You know what I
funny,
mean?
isn't it?
Like,
I told him straight up. I was just like, "Yo, bro, at what point are you just gonna not respond to Joel? Like, let Joel be the asshole, and then he sees you being nice. Inevitably, it'll come to a point where no one's being mean anymore. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't. That being said, I am going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers here. But we go back 2 weeks. The Colts, they go and they light up this Pittsburgh Steelers defense that no team had done up until that point. And now the offense was backpacking. They weren't able to win this game. Then versus the Cowboys, a masterpiece performance out of the Steelers defense, truthfully, considering that Dallas would get into the plus territory. They would make a big play, whether it was interception, fumble. TJ Watt had his handprints
doing
all
Steeler
over that
things.
game. I mean, absolutely. But then the offense couldn't get anything going. You had George Pickens half-assing routes. You had the play calling be super stale and
offensive talent
boring.
just sucks.
Najee Harris is terrible. I
George
keep trying to
Pickens.
say this. He's not good.
George Pickens
Jalen Warren,
doghouse.
please get well soon. What'd you say?
I was gonna say, George
doubtful.
Pickens is in the doghouse
He's doubtful.
right now.
That's terrible to hear. Get well soon. And George Pickens, he's kind of due to himself, though.
He is.
Reports saying that he's been showing up late to practice. Doesn't seem like he's dedicated to the team right now. You can keep it honest, though. If you're in your rookie contract and you're acting like this, does not matter the talent. You will not get re-signed.
Especially
And
if you're a
another team-
Steeler.
And another team will not pick you up because there's a certain level of discipline and it's a privilege to be in the National Football League. George Pickens is amazing. We know this.
This is for a storied
We talk about
franchise
him
like
as
Pittsburgh.
one of the more underappreciated, underrated wide receivers in the game. There needs to be a level of self-awareness. You need to understand your position. So I look at the Steelers, regardless of situation. Raiders have been in the mud. Defense isn't good. Offense isn't good, especially going up against this great Steelers defense. But Steelers, John says it every time, these are one of those games where Steelers play down to competition and they end up blowing this game, which is why I feel like this can be an upset. He called it with the Colts. Maybe that's what's in my head. But I'll go with the Steelers here, even though I don't feel great about it, truthfully.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers too, but John's right. They could lose any game, but because of that, they could also win any game because every single game the Steelers will ever play for the next probably forever is going to be a 1-possession game, low scoring, and it's going to come down to the final 2 possessions, and either TJ Watt makes a play on defense or he does it. That's really what it's felt like for the Steelers team for the last couple of seasons. That's what it's like for this year. But yeah, the Raiders are so bad right now, right? Like, just not even the product on the field, but the shit you got going on off the field with Devontae Adams. The quarterback change to Aiden O'Connell isn't going to change anything for this offense. The running game is inconsistent. Or not even inconsistent, just bad. The weapons room without Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker. Of course, Brock Bowers too. Not a terrible room, but you don't really have a quarterback to get anything going. And this Steelers defense is going to be able to get after Aiden O'Connell in this passing attack. So it's difficult to find a world where Raiders are coming out on top.
Something just hit my mind. Shout out to Logan from Nerd Sesh.
when I was on Nerd Sesh, him and I had like a 20-minute unnecessary debate about Gardner Minshew and Daniel Jones, because he just hates Daniel Jones for whatever reason. So I want to take this moment, Logan. If you are watching,
Low key,
eat it.
what does Gardner Minshew look like with Brian Dable?
It doesn't look as good as Daniel Jones.
I don't know.
I got Pittsburgh, man. I think this is a bounce back game.
I'm sorry. You're funny. You're funny. Because did it without Malik Neighbors last week versus Seattle.
No, he did.
On the road.
Yeah.
Shout out to Danny.
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh.
Because the stats are better than Aaron Rodgers.
Clears Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, go ahead. Now you're locked.
I got
Apologize.
Pittsburgh this game, bounce back game for sure. Coming off a tough game that took probably an hour and a half to
For
start
real?
with the Dallas game. So the shit was just funny all night. But yeah, bounce back game for this offense, I should say, just to not turn the ball over like Drew mentioned, just to be a little bit more safe. This Raiders game does feel like a trap, but I feel like a trap only comes from a team that has any sense of fear or any sense of actual attack. I don't think the Raiders are good at any point. Tay might not play. You just went from ass to ass in your quarterback spot. This offense looks lifeless. This defense is not giving you no real push outside of Max Crosby. Shout out to him. He's really one of my ends. And I feel like this team is just in the mud. You know, Pierce is making these wild, random, weird, fake philosophical, I'm telling you one thing, telling you another comments that you're trying to figure out what he's saying, but you don't know what he's saying, but then he's saying something. It's just all off, and something's
You gotta
going
love
on.
coach speak.
Yeah, listen,
Would you rather that? Would you rather some shit like that?
I just keep it 100. Just be real with me. But yeah, this Raiders team is just lost. So I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I actually did see the clip that you were talking about today, just because they always listen. It was like 2 days ago, but it pops up on my Twitter feed, and I got what you were saying. He wasn't really saying anything groundbreaking. It's just Darvingham never spoke about basketball.
I understand.
But I get where you're coming from. It really wasn't anything crazy. It was just like we're screening,
Darvingham
and
calls
we're
timeout.
navigating screens really well.
Yeah,
I just seen like Doc Rivers say that 100 times.
Yeah.
And nobody's like bats an eye.
Because Darvin was, Laker fans were in the mud.
we've seen
with
Doc
Darvin.
Rivers pull Darvingham timeouts. Timeout, we're down 8. We got to go. Let's do it.
Real.
Come on, tighten up. All right, get out of there. Let's do it. What did you say?
really what it is.
What's the game plan, coach? Nothing. Okay, let's go out there and play.
This does have upset written on it. Now, the Steelers, I think the perception of their defense is not what the reality has been.
Here we go.
The last 2 weeks, they're 26th in EPA per play on defense. They're 22nd in success rate. Alex Highsmith is hurt. Nate Herbig, their other edge rusher,
They
is
played
hurt.
well against the Cowboys.
I was gonna say
I
that
thought they
Colts
lost. They
Colts
played
game.
really
I guess they
well.
got some more yards, but the Cowboys they played well.
They
Pittsburgh
played
almost
well.
came back. They almost won that game.
They should.
did.
They let me not say should have, because Dak was extremely clutch on fourth down.
Dak also had some boneheaded plays, too.
Agreed.
But the Cowboys were moving the ball. Rico
don't
Dowdle got
disagree.
going.
They had some
Also on the
turnovers,
ground.
yeah.
Rush defense definitely got gashed.
Yeah, so the Steelers play one of the lowest press rates on defense, and because of that, wide receivers are able to get free releases, and that leads to easy, quick game stuff that can happen. The Raiders, the last 2 weeks, they beat the Browns by 4 points. The Browns are inept. I really don't care about that. The Broncos game, the Broncos had control of it after the first quarter, but there was a moment there where you're like, oh, the Raiders are getting some explosive plays on this elite level defense, and that was without Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, we know, is a huge loss, but I think Jacoby Myers is solid. I really love Trey Tucker. And Brock
Talk about the
Bowers
GOAT.
is one of the best tight ends in the league already. He's not just good, he's great.
First
he can do it all.
in everything.
Dehls.
Targets, receptions, yards. He is unbelievable already.
Come back over here, bro. You just get it put over. You want to put it over there?
No, you just charge it, bro. Oh, wait, it
Yeah, it's
stretches.
right there, it's right there.
Well, my shit dead, so
Here you go, Riff.
thanks, guys. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
no
That's right. There's nothing to say other than Brock Bowers is a demon, and I wish he was a Denver Bronco.
And I look at the Raiders right now. They're
Damn.
top 5.
That's rude to Bo. I'm sorry, Bo. That was unnecessary. He should be a New York Jet. That's what he should
I agree
be.
with that.
The Raiders right now are top 5 in pass rush and run stop win rate. Christian Wilkins did go down. He's an
He's
IR
on
right
IR,
now.
right? Yeah.
But the same thing you can say for the Steelers and TJ Watt taking over this game. Max Crosby can do the same thing on the other
Taking
side.
the Raiders.
I'm taking the Raiders.
Respect that.
I think
It could
between
happen.
Justin Fields and
I hope
Gardner
you're right.
and
I hope
Aiden
they
O'Connell,
smoke the Steelers.
Wait.
I think Fields is a little bit better.
Wait.
But the Raiders have much better weapons.
You wanted me to
You trust their
apologize.
weapons
What am I
more.
apologizing for? It definitely wasn't after last week.
He didn't play terrible.
He didn't play good.
Yes, I agree.
All right.
But he's better than Nato. Fucking O'Connell.
Yeah.
The one thing that I don't like about this QB transition is that Gardner Minshew at least offers you a semblance of escapability in the pocket. Aiden O'Connell doesn't. So, if TJ Watt is in his vicinity, he's going down. You can say the same thing for Gardner Minshew. I'm just saying he's a little bit more mobile, but I do think Aiden O'Connell is a better pocket passer than Gardner Minshew. And last year he looked solid. I think the Raiders, they just got to do enough. This is going to be a very ugly game.
Likely if you're taking a couple other side picks when we
I don't know. We'll
It could
see.
happen. I like it.
We'll see. I'm going with the Raiders. Falcons versus the Panthers.
Falcons.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, start of the week on fantasy.
Is he?
Panthers are
I
anemic.
love that for you.
Panthers are anemic on defense.
I'll tell you who my start of the week is. Bijan Robinson.
Deadass.
It's gonna be funny
It
enough.
should be a great week for Bijan. Should be a
And
great week for
Brees,
Brees.
yes.
Like the top
the the title for our last fantasy reaction was are Brees Hall and Bijan Robinson busts. And it's funny enough, they're probably going to be both of our starts of the week this week. Bijan's going to go berserk against the Carolina Panthers. Somebody actually messaged me and asked me, would you start Kirk Cousins or CJ Stroud this week? And I was kind of torn, but Kirk Cousins going up against the Panthers, even though I still think they're really going to try and get Bijan going in this game, Kirk Cousins is going to go out there and have a light show. This offense has been super fun to watch these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is one of those start everybody. Darnell, Kyle Pitts, Drake London.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Panthers defense is so terrible.
Pitts, I don't know.
Even if it's on the road, I got the Falcons winning
He
on
had
the
a
road.
good game last game.
He did. He had best game in the last 3 years.
Yeah, the Andy Dalton starting for the Panthers is kind of dying down a little bit. They're coming down to earth. They don't have that same spark. Still better offensively than anything Bryce Young was giving them, but
Played a couple terrible
they're
defenses
still
to start.
they're bottoming out right now.
For sure.
Lions versus the Cowboys.
Game of the week. Hopefully.
You think so?
I have Dak. I have Goff. I have Monroe. I have
need
CD.
it.
So I hope it's the Bengals and Ravens from last week.
I'm gonna take Detroit, man. Dallas really didn't show me much in this game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, other than maybe they have their running back Enrico Dowdle. That's really what they showed me. We know what they are. They're gonna pass the ball a ton. It's gonna be to CD. It's gonna be to Jake Ferguson. Give some love to Jalen Tolbert, who really has stepped up these last couple of weeks. 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, double-digit fantasy points too. He's been really reliable for them. I'll give him his acknowledgement. But this defense still leaves a lot to be desired. And with the way that Detroit has been playing offense, or played offense last against Seattle, I'm anticipating a similar showing, especially off a bye. You've had a lot of time to prepare for this one. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, these are going to be my 2 impact players that are going to go out there and dominate this game. But of course, when you have Jameson Williams going out there and playing his best brand of football, you have Amon-Ra, Sam Laporte. There's just too much talent on this offense to lose a game like this to the Dallas Cowboys, who are legitimately one of the worst defenses in the National Football League.
Sunday night.
This is 4
4
o'clock game.
So I will be taking
America's
the Detroit
game of the
Lions.
week.
America's game.
Tom Brady probably gonna
And
commentate on
Detroit
it.
getting their comeuppance after last year when they kind of got screwed.
They did get screwed.
So maybe they really have some extra motivation coming into this one.
I just think for me, it's pretty simple. The Lions are coming off a bye week.
Yep.
And this NFC North is tough. You have to win every single game from here on out because not only the Vikings undefeated, but you have the Packers, the Bears playing some good football. So you can't afford to drop a game to the
Packers are
Cowboys.
4th, right? In the division right now.
They might be tied for 4th.
Tied
I mean, them and the Bears
3-2,
are
right?
both
The
3-2.
Bears have 2 losses?
Yep.
Shit, I thought they only had 1.
Yeah,
They lost to the Texans and they lost to the Colts.
They did lose to the Colts.
correct. Yeah, I got the Lions in this game. I think that, of course, the Cowboys defense is so bad. The Lions should do whatever they want. But on the other side, I think Dak Prescott in this offense, they're finding a groove right now. We know that this offense, it all relies on Dak Prescott and his arm to make exceptional plays. And CeeDee Lamb is now working his way back from not practicing in the offseason. Jalen Tolbert is having his little mini breakout.
I like it.
And it's another example of how you can't count out guys too early in their career, week 1. I mean, in their first year. Jalen Tolbert reminds me a lot of Michael Gallup and how he broke out for the Cowboys. First year, kind of unknown. Second year, he broke onto the scene for 1,000 yards. And Rico Dowdle was getting more involved in the run game as well.
He should.
Yes, because he's always been better than Zeke, and you need that extra
on.
explosiveness.
You respect the
It's
legend.
it's just what it is, man. Zeke can't run past anybody. But I have the Detroit Lions on primetime beating the Cowboys.
I got the Lions too. I agree with you that CD is getting back into it, and we've seen it the last couple of weeks, right? The game before the Giants, who they play, where he had kind of an issue on the sideline. I forgot who they played.
I know what game you're talking about.
But regardless, the next game against the Giants, first possession the first drive, he gets like 5-6
Baltimore?
targets.
Cleveland and Baltimore.
It definitely was Baltimore.
It was Baltimore, right, where they had
Sorry.
the issue
In
on
my
the
head, I have to
sideline.
go from week 1 all the way.
No, that's a fact. And then the next game, you see CD goes out there, first possession, they're force feeding him. And I think, similar to this past week, right, he wasn't utilized as much, but it's more so in the second half of games. They just go away from it, right? Like he has, I believe, I just had the number. He has 25 receiving yards in the second half of games. 4 catches for 25 yards in the second half. We saw it in that Giants game. He had like 80-something yards at halftime, finished with 80-something yards at the game. So for whatever reason, the second half, the offense kind of falls apart, or more than anything, gets away from what it should be doing, which is utilize CeeDee Lamb a shit ton, utilize Jake Ferguson. Tolbert's been playing great, so he gets some looks. And Rico Dowdle, in my opinion, has always been the better running back over Zeke this season. So I'm glad that he's starting to become the 1A in this offense. He's washed. I don't know what you want me to say.
Respect a goat.
No, he's a goat. Should they sign fucking Adrian Peterson? Like, what do you want to do? I mean, at this point, he's good. But no, I got Detroit in this game. I think they're the better team than the Cowboys right now.
AP or Zeke right now?
Right now, please respect Ezekiel Elliott.
I know what Zeke is. Let's see, AP. What you got? Let's see.
God.
This goes against every fiber in my body.
Dallas.
This goes against everything I stand for when it comes to the NFL.
This is a bad selection.
I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys in this one. I'm going with the upset pick. Listen, you mentioned it. Dallas has been getting their groove lately. They've been riding and striding. You know, they looked a little bit better in the Baltimore game. At the end of the game, of course, making that late low comeback. Then they looked solid against Pittsburgh. I think you do need to utilize CeeDee Lamb. I think you do need to force feed CeeDee Lamb because he is a top 3 receiver in the world. You paid him a shit ton of money for a reason, and he's just coming off a year where he had 1,700 fucking yards. Give him the ball. I don't even understand.
Falling off?
No, he's still better than 99% of the league.
Okay.
But I don't understand that. But I do think they found a little something with Rico. They got a little something with Jayden. I am still in between on the Detroit Lions secondary. I do like their front seven, but I'm a little bit cautious with their secondary. I think this is a game where CeeDee Lamb can have a big-ass game, but if they decide to not give him the ball, that would suck. But I do think Dallas needs a statement win. I think Detroit has been playing relatively safe throughout the year, and they've been getting their W's, and they've been quietly getting back to their vibe. But I think with Dallas, you need a statement win. You need something to get you on the board, get people to talk about you, get people to just notice how good you are as a regular season team. And I think it starts with this win here against Detroit. So I do have the Dallas Cowboys. I don't like it. I actually hate them really bad, but I'm going with them.
Now the Bengals versus Giants, Sunday Night Football.
Here we go.
Who's gonna be the man and take the Giants?
You know, I'll gladly be the fucking guy, but I need a partner this time. You left me with Carolina.
I tried so hard
They almost won.
to convince myself to take the Giants.
Here,
it's prime time. I can't do it.
One stat to try to convince you more.
I can't. I've seen a lot of them. Let's hear it.
This havoc rate is a stat that's measured by Field Vision Sports. I mentioned it in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
It basically measures rate of plays resulting in sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, tackles for loss, or pass breakups. The Giants' defense is number 1 in the NFL right now in that.
They've been amazing.
Very curious what they were before last week. just out of curiosity.
The Bengals are 32.
Yeah, we know that the Bengals. I actually, because we didn't do our takeaways last episode.
No.
The Bengals defense is, I don't want to say historically bad, but it's comically bad. 7th most yards allowed per game, 3rd most rushing yards allowed a game, 2nd most points allowed 112 first downs. That's 2nd most in the NFL. 2nd worst team on 3rd down, allowing a first down on 47.5% of plays, 47.5% of the time. 30th in EPA per play, 31st in success rate, 29th in dropback EPA, 31st in rush EPA. There's nothing they do good on the defensive side of the ball. Absolutely nothing right now. So with that, it's understandable that there's a way, there's a path for the Giants to win this game. They just upset Seattle on the road. That was unbelievably cool to watch. This Bengals offense is amazing, though. Mm-hmm. They are one of the best offenses in football. The way that Joe Burrow has been playing right now, Joel, you've mentioned it. He's playing at a top 2, top 3 level right now in the National Football League. He's been that great. Jamar Chase is proving he is worth $40 million. And T. Higgins back too. He's been a touchdown machine as well. I've been loving what I've been seeing out of that duo. We know that they're arguably the best duo in football. Right now, they have a conversation as the best duo in football. I want to take the Giants, but right now this offense is playing at a really high level. And I think that the Giants will be able to put up points on this team for sure. But they're 1-4, and they can't afford a loss to the Giants. They simply can't. If they lose to the Giants, their season's done. You don't go 1-5 and bounce back and make the playoffs. I don't see it. You need this game.
But
Season been done, yo, chat.
the Giants could be 4-1 right now if they have a kicker against the Commanders.
I know. The Giants are a sneaky good team.
Their offense has been playing really well.
Yes.
So are you picking?
And
Giants?
I'm not picking the Giants because I think this is the Bengals' last hope. This game right here.
It
You
wasn't
know
last
what?
week?
I just named so many stats as why the Bengals are ass.
They are.
The
Defense
only
is
thing
terrible.
that is getting me is
Joe Burrow?
it's prime time.
Right.
Well, I think more than anything, it's both teams are going to be able to score, right? I think the Giants showed against Seattle they could put up damn near 30 points, right, with this offense, and that was without Malik Neighbors. And the Bengals, we already know can score. So if this is going to be a shootout, taking Joe Burrow, right? Like I just think
I agree.
what they just
Not
showed
even
last
thinking
week
about
against the Ravens and Daniel Jones, I'm just going to bank on him to make one or two mistakes that Joe Burrow probably won't make.
When has he made a mistake this season?
It's bound to
Outside
happen.
week 1 versus Minnesota.
It's bound to happen.
He's the best quarterback in New York, and you hate it.
Better than Josh Allen?
Apologize.
Best quarterback in New Jersey.
You got it.
The Bengals defense, Lou Anarumo is getting into desperation mode right now. He called a blitz 41 times against the Ravens this past Sunday. 41 fucking times. You know how much little faith you have to have in your defensive line to not generate pass rush or get run stops, to call a blitz 41 freaking times. The secondary, Cam Taylor-Britt has regressed a lot. Since the Kansas City game, really, he has been terrible. He's been one of the worst corners in football. And this is why, like, I understand your line of reasoning, Dehls, with saying if it's a shootout, I trust Joe Burrow. That's all fine and stuff. But it's also like, what defense do you trust to get at least one stop in the game, right? And
That's a fair point.
between the Bengals and the Giants, you trust the Giants to at least get one stop. The Bengals' pass protection has been one of the better ones in the league, the best that Joe Burrow has had in his career. Orlando Brown is playing at a very great level right now. But the interior offensive line is still a bit of a question mark. And you have Dexter Lawrence that you got to worry about, who at any moment can break a play up.
He can win a game.
Yeah. At any point, he can have a tackle for loss or a sack or one of those things. This is definitely a tough game for me to predict because I think this is a must-win game for the Bengals. Their defensive players and staff, they just had a players-only meeting. So they are trying to find at least a fix to this defense because it doesn't need to be average. It just needs to be a little bit below average to give this offense a chance. But this is the Bengals' last hope. It's Joe Burrow. It's the offense. It's T. Higgins. It's Jamar Chase. And I'm going with the Bengals. If they don't win this game, I'm not going to pick them again for the rest of the season. I'm not, because it's over. This is the game they have to win.
Absolutely.
This is what they have to win. But I will say this. This is the last thing I'll say, then I'll let you make your final pick, Drew.
You can go ahead.
This is what I'll say.
How are you gonna make him?
The Cincinnati Bengals have to do these exact things to give this team a chance to win, not this year, but in the future. Number one, they have to extend Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I know there's going to be people out there that say, oh, you can't pay 2 wide receivers. Didn't the Dolphins do it? They have Tua. They paid Tyreek. They have Jalen Waddle. Didn't the Eagles do it? They have Jalen Hurts. They paid A.J. Brown. They had Devontae Smith. Who else on the Bengals is getting paid? You have the money and the flexibility to pay Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, because nobody else is getting paid. And you might say, but if we pay T. Higgins, we can't pay other players. What? Defensive replacement level players like you did this offseason with Geno Stone and Von Bell and Sheldon Rankins? They haven't been making any impact. You extend those guys, you cut dead weight on the roster to free up salary cap, like Sam Hubbard, who's been awful, Geno Stone, who this year has not been good, and this upcoming draft, you draft nothing but defensive players. Rounds 1 through 7, every single pick, you draft defensive players. That's what the Bengals have to do, because this is the best offense the Bengals have had in the Joe Burrow era, and they are wasting this team right now. They're wasting this offense.
Just to show you guys that I wasn't fucking around, I don't have a winner. I genuinely had no idea.
Who'd you pick?
Why?
Cincinnati. I see who
You pick the Giants if I pick the Giants?
Yeah.
You pick the Giants if I pick the Giants? No. You're picking Cincinnati? He's a pussy. No. Simple as that. You know what, Riv? Fuck it.
Giants?
Let's take the Giants.
All right, let me change it so I could just remember. I forget.
Someone said he looked like Grant Williams in the
I
comments.
seen
It
that
kills me.
shit killed me.
Kills
I
me.
lied. I lied.
Oh
The Giants.
It's crazy.
The Giants.
Just call me a pussy.
Yeah, fuck you.
Is he serious?
Here's the thing. Did you change it already? You know what?
No, I'm going back.
No, stay.
Nah, fuck
Here's the
that.
thing.
He
You guys
just-
are
he
a
just-
mess.
Here's the thing.
I saw who you picked next game. Fuck you.
I'm sorry. And this is why I'm not going to pick the Giants. They've been doing good without me. And for that, I love
respect
them.
that.
I'm
I
happy
respect
for them.
that. I respect
And
that.
I want the best for this fucking football team. And if that's just what it's going to take, I'll happily be wrong. I'm going to ride with the Bengals.
I just feel like all four of us going with the Bengals, something's bound to happen. Something
Oh, bro,
bad's bound
they're
to
not
happen.
making the
beat,
play.
beat the Giants, man. Come on.
If you can't beat the Giants,
It's not us.
you know, and this is also what went through my head and why I almost did it again. Is this just the 4-12 Houston Texans?
It's a good comp.
With Deshaun Watson.
It's a good
Is
comp.
this just the 4-12 2019 or 2020 Houston Texans? Because this defense is terrible. Houston Texans defense was terrible. Deshaun Watson was all world. 70% completions, almost 5,000 passing yards. Joe
He
Burrow.
was an MVP.
And Joe Burrow is also in the MVP conversation if his team was good.
Don't you dare let the Bengals win four games for the rest of the year.
Hey, but that's exactly the
Don't
truth.
don't let us go into that offseason.
But you understand my logic behind it's just like this offense can
So
be
you're going with the Bengals, not the Giants.
I am going with the
You know what?
You changed it though.
I changed it back.
Yeah, but you know,
Sleeper shouldn't
We
let
have-
you do
we have
bang,
till
bang, bang.
Thursday.
We do.
back to the comment that Dehls made about Riv. I read a comment that said Riv's new haircut. It looks like he's mad at the mic for him talking into it.
Somebody said I look like my first day. First day of school.
Also, one of
90%
the-
of these comments are just doing this damn hair.
Wait, you said
really.
you have until Thursday to what?
To really finalize my picks.
Oh, so you can't. Yeah, I thought it was you finalize it on the show.
I thought it was the graphic.
the graphic.
It is the graphic.
The
it's
graphic
also
usually
like-
comes out Thursday.
No,
right?
it is. No, the graphic is final, but I mean,
Okay, so
what changes from today to tomorrow?
No, really nothing. Like back, maybe my more hate. Maybe I want to go with the Giants. But now I'll go Cincinnati. All right.
Okay, so you're going with the Bengals too.
Drew's
Drew?
going back. He's clicking both teams right now.
I'll come back to
If
this
you
one.
pick the Giants, River, you
All
pick
right,
the Giants.
on the recap. It's got to be
That's
locked
it,
in.
that's
The
it.
recap's
If
gotta
he
be
goes
locked.
Giants, I'm gonna let him go first when it comes to Giants and the Bengals. If he thinks Giants first, I will gladly flip to the Giants.
Drew every week has this pick that he's struggling
does.
with,
And
Fight
I
the
get
Bengals.
it.
and then the
It
recap
works.
he picks the other
I've
team.
been hit. I'm 2 for 2 on it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I haven't picked good on the Niners all year, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm 1-4 on Thursday night games. Keep that in mind. I'm 1-4.
Yeah,
Bills versus Jets, Monday Night Football.
I know we're all good. It's 3 against 1. Usually is when it comes to the Bills.
And
Well, I think we know why we would, but I would love to hear the non-Jet fan point of view.
Oh, I didn't hear what you. Why would you guys go? Oh, because
Well, we're the Jets fan. I mean, I'm assuming he's saying this. I don't know.
I only have a couple sentences to say. I know we fired Robert Saleh. I know it was a mess. The Jets are right now organizationally dysfunctional. I understand all that. When we got Aaron Rodgers, this is what we signed up for. We signed up for our future to be in the hands of Aaron Rodgers, and he hasn't been playing well. And he said that he wasn't in on Robert Saleh getting fired. He had no idea of it. Whether I believe him or not, I really don't know. I think it doesn't really matter at this point. It's irrelevant. But I will say this. I do have confidence in Jeff Ulbrich. He was somebody that was going to get head coaching looks. Kyle Shanahan wanted him to be the defensive coordinator for him. And I think that he's going to bring a brand new energy. And ultimately, the game plan comes from the head coach at top. An offensive coordinator is not independent at his job. It's not like Nate Hackett's like, okay, I'm just going to do my thing. No, the head coach lays out the game plan and sets the table for how he wants you to prepare for the game as a play caller. And if Jeff Ulbrich can be better at that, if we can be more disciplined under him, I think this move more than anything. I gave you guys my scenarios last podcast about how this can go for the Jets. I think this move is going to light a spark under the Jets, and we're going to start playing some really good football, specifically offensively, and I think we're going to go on a win streak. And it starts Monday night.
For your guys'
That sounds
sake,
terrible.
I hope that comes into fruition because I always want the best for my friends. And I do believe the Jets do win this game. That has nothing to do with the Buffalo Bills. More so, it has to do with, it does have to do with the Buffalo Bills. Really, their rush defense is terrible. And that's really a concern for me. I look at Breece Hall and how he's been bad. He's been pretty atrocious.
sucks.
This is his breakout game because how poor your guys' rush defense is. And also, this Jets defense has been awesome. It's been really, really great and made Minnesota look pretty average in comparison from what they've been putting forth over the early part of the season. With that, Josh Allen coming into this game banged up too. You have James Cook, who picked up a late injury designation, was listed as questionable. I'm assuming he does play, but picking up a midweek injury obviously is something to monitor. This offense for the Buffalo Bills has been very up and down. You have that game versus Miami where we kind of found out a lot about Miami, more so the Buffalo Bills in hindsight, where they were able to just run the ball all over Miami. But now in hindsight, we know Miami's rush defense is atrocious. Then you have a game versus the Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens have been one of the worst pass defenses in football, and you can't do a lick versus them. And then versus the Houston Texans, you come out flat. Texans take an early lead. You guys try to make a respectable comeback. You guys are in a position where you guys can win the game. You go and you have 3 brain dead plays, and you go and you end up giving the Texans a chance to win the game, and they ultimately do. I think the Jets need this game. I think the Bills also do, but now there's a desperation mode for the New York Jets. You guys have a negative record. You want to get back positive. You want to compete for the division, and this is a game that's for the taking. Buffalo's not playing a great brand of football. Neither are you guys, but your guys' strengths are ones that you can go and capitalize against this Buffalo team. I think Breece Hall has struggled. He'll have a great game, and I think that will be the reason they win the game.
Yeah, got the Jets too, believe it or not, Riv. Historically, we know we played Josh Allen really tough, especially at home when we're in MetLife. But I think Joel's right, because if you look past this Buffalo game, which I'm not trying to look over, but say you win, you got Pittsburgh the next week, which, listen, we've said Pittsburgh can win or lose any given game, right? But that's a game that I think the Jets are probably favored in. You got New England, Houston, which is tough, but probably without Nico Collins, then Arizona and the Colts before your bye week. So do you win all those games? I don't know, but can you win, 5 out of these 6 matchups? There's a decent chance you can. You could be going into that bye 2-3 games over 500, and we're looking at this team completely different. But to talk about this game specifically, it all comes down to Breece Hall in this run game for me, right? This has to be the game that things get back on track, because coming into the year, as much as I was high on Aaron Rodgers and people outside of this room loved Aaron Rodgers and what he could be with Garrett Wilson, this offense to me was always ran through Breece Hall. Braylon Allen has been a pleasant surprise, more than a pleasant surprise. He is a key part of this offense now, and I think it's fantastic that we have 2 running backs that should be getting, on any given team, 15 to 20 carries per game, because that's how great they are. If this is the game, the running game finally gets going, and we see Breece Hall break off one of those vintage Breece Hall runs for 70 yards, and he's the fastest next-gen stats runner, and it looks like the Breece Hall we've seen, everything changes with his offense, because you could go back to living and dying with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Then off of that, Aaron Rodgers just have to throw the ball 40 goddamn times every single week. The other thing is, I don't know if they're going to announce it this week or next or whenever, but I think there's a really strong chance Nate Hackett loses his job as play caller, right? I don't think they fire him, but it seems like from what Ulbrich has said, from what Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show today, what the reports that we've heard outside of, from Adam Schefter and stuff yesterday, there was a strong chance that Nate Hackett was going to lose his play calling duties going into this week. Of course, Saleh gets fired, so everything's up in the air. But I think that there's a good chance Todd Downing takes over. I don't think Todd Downing's that great. I think he's better than Nathaniel Hackett. Todd Downing is still probably a bottom 5 play caller in the league, but Nate Hackett is the bottom play caller in the NFL. He's the worst, doesn't get worse than that. So more than anything, I want to see this run game get going, because I know the defense is going to be there. I know, especially with Khalil Shakir banged up, still hasn't practiced. This wide receiver core is decimated with injuries. And last week against Houston, Josh Allen was 9 for 30. The worst Josh Allen game we had seen since 3 years, right? Since he's broken out legitimately, 9 for 30. That's like year 1 Josh Allen. That's what Anthony Richardson is doing type shit. Honestly, even worse what Anthony Richardson is doing. Completely ugly game. And we do see, although head coach changes mid-season, you don't make the playoffs most of the time. Again, those stats are skewed because you usually get fired in week 13 when you're like 3-10 or something.
It's usually terrible teams.
Exactly.
For sure.
But you usually get a quick spark right away. Those first couple of weeks right away is when you see the most life injected into this offense. And I'm hoping with the coaching change, this team is just looks better in the first quarter and has some more life to them, because we've seen with Robert Saleh, they're just dead every single week in the first and second quarter, and they're constantly playing from behind. So it's harder to run the ball. It's hard to rush the passer. So I'm hoping there's just some more energy in the first half and they get off to a quicker start.
Team that comes to mind when you mention interim head coaches, the Raiders, the year that the Bengals
they're the
went
only team who had fired a head coach. Well, technically he wasn't even fired because he had resigned, so he didn't even fit in that stat. But they're the only team that did it.
Both teams are in competition of beat a good team challenge. Both teams have yet to beat a good team. Both teams are in desperation mode. I saw Buffalo's injury report. A lot of guys didn't practice today. A lot of important guys didn't practice. I believe Ed Oliver might have been on that
And
list.
Josh Allen has a concussion. I don't care what nobody's going to tell
he's
me.
definitely he's hurt. Like he's just superhuman. But he's 1,000% hurt. And I think with the Jets, you mentioned it. We talked about it in the last show. Like this can either light a spark for this team, or this could be the death of this team. Either they have two different scenarios they can go through. With Buffalo, they don't have the same firing or anything like that, but there's definitely a bit of lack of faith in their coach right now after last week's game against the Texans. I don't put the whole game on Sean McDermott. I think if Josh Allen plays a little bit better, they win that game. I think if the receivers play a little bit better, they win that game. They had every chance in the book to win that game, to go out there and play like shit and steal that game against Houston in Houston. Like they had every chance they could have to win that game. And I just think as a collective whole, from coaching to their worst player, they just could not fundamentally figure it out how to get that W, and they cannot be sound in their play, in their game plan. So I think they coming in this week, there's a little bit lack of faith in Sean McDermott. There's a little bit lack of faith in those receivers, 7 drops. Couple bad passes from Josh. He did not play well. Also, like you mentioned, he's probably dealing with a concussion that he's just hovering over because he's that type of dude that usually plays through injuries. I got Buffalo in this one because I do think, same way how you guys think about the Jets, I think Buffalo has to bounce back. There's no way they couldn't. Like Dehls mentioned, they usually play, the Jets and Bills usually have a really good game. They usually play Josh Allen tough. I felt like last year, though, a lot of when Josh Allen did play like shit on Monday night, a lot of it was just bonehead, dumbass decisions. Like, I don't think...
I'm going to throw it 70 yards to Gabe Davis.
I don't think the Jets did anything that... He just was just making porous, dumbass decisions that just didn't make sense. I think there's a lot of adversity going on with this game because I think there's backs against the wall with Buffalo. This is for the division at the moment. Road game, this defense, the run defense has not been good. They're getting a couple guys back, though. I think Teron will play this week. I think Bernard is racked off the rust from last week. He will be a go for this week, so that's going to be extremely important. Dorian Williams was really good for them last week and the week prior to that, if I'm not mistaken. So they've had a pretty good linebacking core. This defense has to stop the run. If they can stop the run, that'd be great, but they also have to watch out for Garrett Wilson. They also have to watch out for Aaron Rodgers to dice him up. The defensive front line did not play that great last week. They did not get at home at all against C.J. Stroud. They had a couple plays where they got to him, but for the most part, they did not do much damage. I think they need to be a key focal point in this game to really make rush Aaron Rodgers, really get to him. And then on offense, trust in James Cook. Trust in those tight ends. You have to continue to trust in these receivers to make plays because they're going to be with you all year. You can't just give up on them now. This is going to be your wide receiver core for the year. We haven't noticed Buffalo to really make mid-season trades for offensive talent. It's usually for a guy on defense. So at this point, and then no Von Miller, which probably is one of the things that's hurting this team. But you have to just trust in these young receivers to make a play. Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, like this is still a really young group. But I got Buffalo just off the blind faith, and I'm always going to pick them 17 weeks in a row.
Is Dalton Kincaid getting locked up this weekend? No buys?
I don't know.
Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley, if he's back.
Sherwood has been one of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL. And Quincy is as well, so it's a tough matchup.
He might.
I hate him.
It's weird because they should, Kincaid should be the focal point of this passing attack, and he's just not.
I feel like Curtis Samuel should get involved. I don't know. They're
He
just
gets
not
involved at
they're not running any plays for him. I don't know what's going on. Is he in the doghouse? I don't know. He's kind of a vet. He's the vet of this group, but they're just running no Curtis Samuel plays.
Keon Coleman has like a couple big plays here and there, but he's not a guy you can really rely on
he
consistently.
drops the ball.
Yeah.
No, I thought the best receiver against the Texans was Matt Collins.
That's a fact.
He was getting open.
He just dropped the ball.
Yeah, he was getting open
Matt
for
Collins,
sure. He was getting
Matt
down. He was getting down the field and all that good shit.
NFL Pick'em Week 5 predictions.
Drew, remember, Giants, Bengals. You're going first.
Okay.
NFL Pick'em Week 5 predictions. First game up, Thursday Night Football. 49ers versus the Seahawks.
I'm taking Big Cock Brock.
Yeah, give me the Niners. Not thinking twice about it.
49ers.
I'm going with the 49ers. The Seahawks run defense has looked very vulnerable these past couple of weeks. Jaguars versus Bears in London.
Give me Chicago.
I know the Jaguars play well in London, but I'm taking Chicago.
Give me the Bears, but Interested to see BTJ versus Jalen Johnson this week.
I got the Bears in this game. Buccaneers versus the Saints.
I'm going with Baker Mayfield. He's been playing lights out this
Saints
year.
may be desperate, but the Buccaneers are playing a good brand of football. Give me the Bucs.
Baker Mayfield, very low key in MVP consideration.
Give me Spencer Rattler in his first ever NFL start.
off on Baker.
The Saints need this win desperately. I didn't
needs-
fall
he
off on
needs the
Baker.
Saints.
Rattler
I
over
love
Baker.
Baker.
He loves
Here's
the
the thing.
Saints.
The Buccaneers defense is not playing well at all. I got the Saints in this one. The Commanders versus Ravens. Jayden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson, belts to ass.
This is my upset of the week. Give me the Commanders. They've been playing an awesome brand of football, and I think they can outscore the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson, third MVP. Keep it going.
Derrick Henry currently first in rushing yards. Give me the Ravens. I think they run all over the Washington Commanders. The Cardinals versus the Packers.
I am going very comfortably with the Green Bay Packers.
Cardinals find a way to win the games that they shouldn't, but I don't think this would be the week. Give me the Pack.
Yeah, give me the Packers here too.
I got the Green Bay Packers, and show me just a semblance of life on that defensive line, man. Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark have been no-show so far. Colts versus Titans.
I am going with my calm upset of the week. Give me the Colts.
Give me the Titans. Ugly team, but hey, they can get a job done versus the Colts.
I've been wrong with the Titans basically every single week, but we're going back. Give me the Titans, led by Tony Pollard, not Will Levis.
The Colts are banged up and injured. I got the Tennessee Titans. The Texans versus the Patriots.
I will never, ever pick against CJ Stroud unless it's Josh Allen. Give me the Houston Texans.
Give me the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Texans should win comfortably.
Drake May's first start. Why did it have to happen against the Texans? We don't know.
Wait, one more week.
I got the Texans. Browns versus Eagles.
I will never pick the Browns again, but this is my Eagles. Fly, Eagles fly.
Lock of the week. Philadelphia Eagles.
Browns have their pick this year, right?
No clue.
Because if they don't, they're screwed. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. Give me the Eagles.
Eagles coming off their bye week. I got Philadelphia. Chargers versus the Broncos.
I am going with Denver, baby. We're here.
I don't have to say a word.
Give me the Chargers.
The Broncos defense is playing elite. Pastor Tam, probably the leader in Defensive Player of the Year voting. I got the Broncos winning this game. The Chargers look just anemic on offense. Steelers versus the Raiders.
I am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This one feels like a trap, but I'm going to go and fall for it. Give me the Steelers.
I hope it's a trap. You know, the Steelers really need to get their ass kicked just one time to show that they're not that good, but they'll beat the Raiders.
The Steelers past 2 weeks, 26 in defensive EPA per play, 22nd in success rate. Offenses have been able to get their way against them. I got the Raiders winning at home against the Steelers. Falcons versus the Panthers.
I am going with Atlanta. Kirk is going to go crazy.
Bijan Robinson breakout game.
Yeah, this should be Bijan bounce back. Falcons win.
Give me the Atlanta Falcons. Lions versus Cowboys, America's game of the week.
I am going, surprisingly, with the Dallas Cowboys in this one.
It shocked the shit out of me, but I'm taking the Lions. Jameer Gibbs and Monty have their hands all over this one.
Let's see a shootout. Wouldn't be mad, but give me the Lions.
I'm going with the Detroit Lions. Sunday night football. Bengals versus Giants.
Drew, talk to me. Where are we going? Are we going with the G-Men? Are we going for Jersey? What are we doing? Talk to me.
Bless you.
Bless you.
I'm here to say, I'm riding with those New York football Giants. They're winning on Sunday night prime time, and they end the Cincinnati Bengals season.
And I am riding with him on his back, naked. Give me the G-Men.
Let's go to the promised
Not
land.
right on his front.
I'm the back guy.
Wow, he's a bottom guy. Is that what that means? I got the Bengals in this one, man. You can't lose to the Giants. Lose to the Giants,
they
season's
can.
over.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants do win,
What happened
but
to
the
Joe Burrow,
Bengals
man?
need this win. Joe Burrow is playing like an MVP,
is.
and they are losing. Give me the Bengals. And Monday Night Football, the Bills versus the Jets.
I never pick against Josh Allen. Give me Buffalo.
I'm going to take the Jets. I think they have their best rush performance of the season, and they win this one.
Everyone get the jokes out of the way. The comedic just scrutiny of the New York Jets. It ends next week. The New York Jets demolish the Buffalo Bills.
Believe it or
You
not,
don't.
the firing of Robert Saleh is going to spark something in this team, and they're going to go on a win streak. And it starts with Buffalo when they take control of first place of the AFC East. Give me the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers has a spectacular game. And that's going to do it for this Week 5 NFL Predictions podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter at PickAsidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at PickAsidePodcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.